wowie zowie. Hello. These are the real ones. The 17 of you who are concurrently watching right now. You only had 5 minutes of warning. You're the real ones. You're the ones who are in here. My hair is so fucking weird. Just got out of the shower. I'm trying new things. I started doing curly girl stuff with my hair, and then it turns out that curly girl is not what my hair is. My hair is in fact wavy girl. So all the products that I got are like weighing my hair down. So now we're trying new things. But anyway, wet hair. Sorry in advance for that. Hi. I'm way back here. I'm really chillaxing. Let me kind of get up to attention here. Hello to the website chat. That's what this is over here. If you're ever like, oh my God, what's this chat? It's not Twitch. It's my website. YouTube chat doesn't go on screen because you're second class citizens. Anyway, hi Jazz Dog. Hello. Hello. What's up, Drea? Faulty Branches. We got Shakespeare. AP Photos. Hell yeah. Actually a fungus. Always in love with your username. Absolutely. Shakespeare. I already said Shakespeare. Hello. Yeah. Politics makes you fucking busy. Yeah. Big time. Time to lick and copy the link. True. I'm not going to actually lick my... I really did almost. I'm not going to do that. Apologizing for wet hair. Wet hair, I assume you mean, but wet chat? Calm down. Listen, chat being wet, chill out. Hello to the YouTube chat as well. There's William and Zach and Little Red Pony. Okay, I can't fucking read, it turns out. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Cora. Welcome in. I see we're having some My Little Pony chat in the YouTube chat. So what's up? It was not a Freudian slip. Are you sure? No. I love how my brain like processed what you were trying to say, but I was still like, what are you doing over there, chat? What are you doing that you're wet over there, chat? Anyway, hello, Mephi. Ooh, when is it? It's next week? Yeah, next week. If you guys like seeing me on the Transatlantic Collins show next week on Thursday, Mama Mephi will be joining me as my guest. It's been a busy fucking month. May was busy. June is also busy. Everything is busy. Busy, and busy. What's everybody else doing? I do have a couple things that have been going on the last couple weeks. Obviously, there's a little bit more time between streams now, so I have like I'm accumulating a little bit more life experience in between each time I see you. Freudian slip, more like accordion whip. True, exactly. You want to be good cop or bad cop? Someone said in my comments a while ago that I play good cop when I'm paired up with a cis person, but I play bad cop when paired up with a trans person. And there's been a couple times lately, a couple shows recently where I've felt like the person that I'm hosting with is just kind of like being way more assertive than I am, and I don't want to interrupt their flow, but I feel like I'm not getting my words in. This might be fitting in with some more broad stuff that we're digging in therapy right now, which is needing space to feel heard. So, and usually if I have a guest, then I'm going to be more likely to be like more proactive and all that stuff, but we can coordinate because I'll be there like 30 minutes beforehand because I am producing at the same time. So that's the tricky thing is I'm producing at the same time that I'm hosting, but I have a guest, which means that I kind of need to be the primary host, but being primary host and the producer is kind of fucking hard. But anyway, we'll get plenty of time beforehand to kind of strategize and coordinate, and we'll find out if we even have the calls needed, because sometimes we just don't have the calls needed to do bad cop at all. So can we get vindictive cop? True. Happy birthday, Jazz Dog. And happy Pride Month. Yeah, isn't that wonderful having a birthday during Pride Month? Hell yeah, absolutely. Now the age of 24. You know what's really fun? When I turned 25, I had a lot of fun being like, and now I'm a quarter of a century old. Ha 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 ha. It was pretty fun. Jack is pretty alpha though. I guess so, yeah. I'm personally in favor of positive nihilistic cop versus existentially dreadful cop. True. I am the existential cop, but what if I'm not? Oh, dear Lord. True. Yeah. So I'm taking I don't have Takis on the last Thursday because I have other shit going on that week. I think it was me who made that bad cop comment. Listen, I'll give you credit. I don't remember who it was, Banana Brains. I'm sorry. I'm not good at retaining the name information over text a lot of the time. So I'm sorry if I'm ever not giving people appropriate credit for stuff that they have done or said. I'm just like not good at retaining that information. Even over in person, I was like, someone said something recently that I was like, oh, that was funny. And now I don't even remember what it was, but I was trying to reference it and I was like, I don't remember who said this. Was it Taylor? Was it Alyssa? Was it Promise? It was one of the femoids. I don't remember. Yeah, shout out to Banana Bryans. Exactly. I'm almost half a century old. That's exciting. Wow. It's going to be a while before I get to that milestone. I'm 32. Which it's so weird thinking, because I remember very distinctly, like, I was visiting a family member and I was like, haha, I'm a quarter of a century old. And I was visiting a family member who was like, oh, I'm 3/4 of a century old. And I was like, haha, isn't that so fun? And that was 7 years ago. What? Yeah. I'm just eating croutons. Delicious. I am trying to restrain myself from eating a large number of Triscuit crackers. You know how it goes. I'm 41 this Pride Month. Listen, I feel like aging is not bad, so I don't want to make anybody feel bad about it, but like I like aging. Whenever my hair started turning white in my mid-20s, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I don't have this problem. Well, I mean, obviously I have like fear of death, but like my fear of death doesn't really culminate in the like I'm just not worried about aging. I'm not really worried about like lines on my face. I'm not really worried about white hair. The things that I'm concerned about are like mobility. Like, am I still going to be like strong enough to accomplish tasks, which is why I'm in the gym 5 days a week right now. That's not the main reason, but it's a big part of the reason. Have you ever had the rosemary Triscuits? I had some. The cracked pepper ones are pretty good. Pretty delicious. The Pride Parade was on my birthday this year. Nice. Safety pin, accurate. You say it's going to be a while, and then it just pops up on you, and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? Yeah, so the problem is not letting that happen, right? To be like embodied in your life in a way that you don't have those like, oh shit, this passed me by kind of thing, which is something I'm thinking about a little bit right now because I'm thinking about trauma. Been thinking about how stress presents itself. And I'm also reading a book that I see recommended constantly called The Body Keeps the Score? Is that the one? Let me open up my library app. Yeah, The Body Keeps the Score. I'm reading it now, or I'm listening to the audiobook, and you all probably have heard of it because I feel like it's one of those that like everybody was talking about it for a minute. So I'm reading that book right now. How far am I in the book? I'm 4 hours into a 16-hour book, so I'm about a quarter of the way through. And it's been really interesting. I especially was like listening to it today, and he talks about, who's the author? Oh my God, what is his name? Bessel van der Kolk. I'm pretty sure it's a man based on just how the writing comes across, but I don't actually know. But anyway, Dr. Kolk, Dr. van der Kolk. How do you say that? When there's like a name that is like Vander Snatch or whatever the fuck. Do you say the whole thing? I don't really know how it works. Hi Lawrence, how's it going? My local Pride celebration is Sunday and it might be rain. Girl, then you just get the endless jokes about being, I'm so wet at Pride. See, just spin it. Just make it fun. When I see the almost black brown hair turning salt white, I'm not aging, I'm seasoned. True. Shakespeare says, I got to push signatures for resolutions for senior care for trans folk. We have a wonderful problem. Now that we survive long enough, our elders need senior homes to be updated to facilitate their needs. That's a great point. That, oh, especially for trans and queer people, getting old is not something we've always had the luxury of doing. And so, yeah, what a unique and wonderful problem to now have to solve. Like, whoa, how do we treat, where the fuck are my, I don't know where my cloth is. There it is. What a wonderful problem to have to account now for transgender seniors when we previously, with the AIDS epidemic and with just like all the violence against our community, like there's just good shit, And you should look up pride events in your area, Pony, because there's all kinds of good stuff. There's a couple events that I'm eyeballing. I'm pretty much never going to tell you guys where I'm going to be before I'm going to be there, but I'll tell you after. So I've got like a couple of events coming up soon that I'm thinking about going to for Pride. Actually over the next few months, really, because for some reason in the PNW, it's all spread out. Like Portland Pride is in July. Oh, you know what? I think it's probably because there's some like Rose City Festival thing in June. So Pride is just always kind of in conflict with this local celebration. So I think that might actually be why Portland Pride isn't until July. But it's like really cool because it means that you can kind of spread out your love, spread out your Pride love over the course of a few months, which is kind of nice. But oh shoot, Saria, I'm sorry you had a difficult situation with your name change. Hopefully it's all fixed though. I had similar things. Like when I changed my name originally, I changed all 3 of my names, and the person just kind of changed my last name because they assumed that it was because I had gotten married, and they didn't change the rest of it. So yeah, it was a little bit complicated for a second, but I have no gas money to go to Pride. Yeah, that's rough. I might end up giving one of my friends a ride because there's just like, it's like, hey, I'm going to be passing through on my way. Someone fund me going to Pride, truly. I decided to eat this banana on stream for whatever reason. For whatever sick, twisted reason. I've decided to do something provocative on stream. I went to my first Pride parade. It was super underwhelming. There were just cars, and there were like 6 of them, but me and my dad had a good time. We went to a local cafe and drank outside. Fuck yeah! I know, I saw some of my friends from back where I'm from in Kansas going to Pride, and it's just a little tiny parade kind of thing. And oh, Portland Pride got moved to make room for Juneteenth. Because Juneteenth is around the same time. Yeah, when is Juneteenth this year? That's a good question. Juneteenth, 2006. June 19. Okay. And it's on the same day every year. Okay, cool. So that's just like a date that I failed to memorize, apparently. It's next Friday. I just found out Utah has a trans pride festival towards the end of summer. Fuck yeah. Oh, Banana Brian, I am eating your sibling. I know, I'm so sorry. I always liked the name Lux. It reminds me of the League of Legends character. You want to know something really funny? Is that I started using the moniker Lux. I guess like almost at the exact same time as League of Legends came out. That's so funny. Yeah, technically, because so October 27th, 2009, I started using the name Luxander in 2009, before October, I think. So That's so funny, actually, because I do remember being like, why the fuck is my name that I've never heard anyone else use before in this fucking video game all of a sudden? I was actually pretty annoyed by it at the time. Because, you know, when you're first coming out as trans and you're like 18, you're like, I'm trying to pick up, or I wasn't first coming out as trans. I'd known I was trans for a while, but I was like changing my name and I was like, yeah, I wanted like a unique name. And it was unique, except that fucking happened. So that was pretty annoying. Anyway. Yeah, if chat wasn't wet before. How wet? Oh. I want to put you and my friend Lex in a room together. Then we gotta go find enemies called Locks, Lax, and Licks, and the set will be complete. True. Oh my god. Shakespeare has around 16 Pride events scheduled this month. I'm excited to be in the Corpo parade that half our team will be protesting. That's so funny. Alexander is a pretty bad-ass name. Thank you. Didn't know you were that old and trans. Yeah, so actually, I found out that I was trans when I was 15, which would have been in 2009? Yeah, it would have been in 2009. Or possibly the summer before that. I think maybe I was like 14 when I first realized that I had something going on. So, yeah, like 2008 is when I realized I was trans. And I've been basically out since then, like in some various degrees. At first, I called myself a female-bodied genderqueer person because I did not seek transition at that time. And maybe I was still a little bit fuzzy on calling myself trans because I definitely felt a lot more valid in my identity when I started hormones. So I like started testosterone, and at that point I was like, well, by anyone's definition now I'm transgender. So there was a little bit of like imposter syndrome and stuff going on at the time. And then I was like, okay, well, regardless of whether I stay on testosterone for the rest of my life, which I didn't, I've been on and off of it several times, but yeah, it was just interesting to be like, I don't feel valid until I receive this medical care, and now I feel valid again. I've never had lox. That's so funny though, because I've heard of bagels and lox, but I've never had it. It's like salmon, right? Lux eating lox. That would be fun. Should have made your last name Luthor and then go on your villain arc. True. What RPGs have you played? Do you mean like video games or do you mean tabletop RPGs? Because I have only ever played one tabletop. Well, okay, we had one-shot tabletop game in my old Discord server that we just did a one-shot, and it was fun. Someone called Izzy led the game, and it was a fun game. And I hope that Izzy's doing well now. But, and I also was part of a Stardew Valley-based role-playing game, but I didn't last very long in it. I ended up quitting after, like, maybe 2 or 3 sessions because it was just too late in the evening for me, and I kind of didn't mesh great with the group. Like, it was just a group that was much, much younger than me. So they were like, yeah, our assigned time to get here is at 7 Central, and then we're all gonna dick around and talk until 7:45 and then start the game. And so I'm like, okay, it's fucking 8 o'clock at night for a game that you need like 3 hours at least. So I was just like, yeah, these people are too young. It's like not working for me. Lox is smoked pickled salmon. Okay. Smoked and pickled. I don't think I've ever had pickled fish. Lox is smoked salmon with cream cheese on a bagel, and that's a luxury that I did not experience before meeting my wife. Her family had it more often. I get the impression that this is like a Jewish person thing. I don't know why I feel, probably because I know that Stevie from Good Mythical Morning is Jewish, and she really liked bagels and lox, and so there's a connection that was made there for me. We have a very active chat today. By the way, there's about 50 people in here watching. If you haven't hit the like button yet, it's quick, it's easy, it's free, it's a good way to support the show. I am also accepting donations if you want to. Oh, fuck me. Okay, I do have a request to make with regards to donations and stuff, which is that I need a graphing calculator. So I see some of your questions in the YouTube chat. I'll answer those. Just give me a quick second. So if you guys are familiar with my throne, mythrone.com/Luxander, which is here, this is like 2 pages worth of stuff that is on this list. And a lot of it's clothes. Like some of it's really cool clothes, but regardless, I'm just trying to get more clothes that fit into my style. But number 1 on the list right now is a TI-84, which I need. I'm basically like not gonna be able to afford to buy it until my grants come through, and I don't really know when that's gonna be or how that works. So I'm gonna be starting classes in like a couple weeks, and I need a graphing calculator for that. So please consider someone, or if you super chat me like $100 right now, I'll put that toward it. But that seems pretty important to have in a class. Yes, true. Yeah, I was double checking. I was like, oh, classes are starting in a couple weeks. I should probably make sure that I know everything that I need. And I was like, the weirdest thing happened to me. I've never had this before, where I was like, I'm going to watch YouTube videos on what is the best graphing calculator. And can I get away with getting a Casio? And then it was like, well, most people are going to have a TI, so I'm just going to go ahead and get a TI, I guess, or like put it on my list or anything. TI-84 is also like not even the best graphing calculator if you're going to be in calculus, and I'm basically going to be in math class for the foreseeable future. I'm starting with pre-calculus. I have to do 2 pre-calculus classes before I can start on what would have been the first semester differential calculus. So I have got like a lot of catch up on math to do, but there's like another brand that's even better than Texas Instruments for graphing calculator reasons. It's like, is it HP or something? I don't know. I was like, I don't need to spend that much money on a calculator. Can a Casio run Doom? That is the question. Byron, you only just got a job. Thank you. I'm glad that you're using your I just got a job money to give me a fucking calculator. Thank you. Thank you, Byron. And that way I don't have to keep begging for it for the rest of the stream. So the rest of the donations today are just strictly if you want to see my cat, you know? Add a link to your throne on your website. Is it not on my... It's in the link of every single YouTube video, I'm pretty sure. And on my... Yeah, I'll write that down. Let me write it down. Put a link. What is this? Fucking link to wish list on website. There you go. I'll do it later. But it's just throne.com/Luxander. Anyway, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Faulty Branches has donated $100 for the engineering journey. Or whatevs, of course.
I don't know how to handle people doing nice things for me. Is something that I find all the time. I love the Endspire. I did look at the Endspire. I decided not to go for it, but Jesus Christ. Thank you, Faulty, and thank you, Viren. I hate you both. Thank you. The HP Prime G2 was the other one I was looking at. Yes, exactly. Okay, I'll go get the cat. I'm going to get the cat. Where is she? She's actually... Hi, baby. Hi. Are you ready? Are you? Are you, baby? I don't think I'm going to be able to trick her into coming over here on her own. I think I'm going to have to go get her. Hi, baby. Oh, kitty. Oh, kitty Mina. Our kitty of Mina and Mina. She likes to lay under my desk. Kitty, she's a kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. I don't know the. Can you tell I don't know the Canadian national anthem? Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby, baby. Oh, baby. Hello, my love. Oh. She's like, I can't believe you've done this. Are you like, I can't believe I've done this? Why are you so folded? Stop being so folded, you weirdo. She's like, I've given up. I've given up on life. You baby? Hi. What are you looking at? I wonder if she's looking at all the little hearts, because the little hearts are flying and she's staring at something. What's going on over there? She looks super not awkward. Yeah. Super not awkward. Are you baby? You good girl? Hello. You are a good baby. Are you fluffy? You fluffy baby. She's lost all of her neck fluff and it's so weird. She looks like a different cat than when I got her like 4 months ago. Are you baby girl? Yeah. You're being weirdly. She's weirdly.
Cliff got a tier 1 subscription. Why don't knows they're fixed it.
There you go. What is you're oddly pacified right now. You're not normally this relaxed when I pick you up. Normally she's like, I don't like this, please put me down. And I do think there is some level of I don't like this, please put me down, but she is not trying to get anywhere. Are you baby? Oh, honey baby kitty cat. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna put you down now? Yeah. Oh, good girl. Thank you for the donations that have enabled me to allow you to bear witness to the cat. I guess if we get another $100, I'll do it again. I'll fucking do it again. $100. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm about to be so busy. I'm really looking forward to being as busy as I'm going to be though. But okay, so I said I was going to answer your questions in the chat. I get distracted easily, but the conditioning is starting to settle in. Sure, yeah, she's starting to get it. I've had her for almost 4 months and she's finally calming down. We'll talk about the cat again in a second. You all had questions about testosterone or some shit in the chat earlier. 1 second. First of all, Scottish Burry says, thank you for the part you played in me figuring things out and coming out to my family, Arrow Ace and Agender. Started going to a local LGBTQIA plus group and going to my first Pride on the 27th. Congratulations. Listen, I'm glad that I helped kind of open the door, but you're the one who had to walk through it. So I give all the props to you on taking that step. Do you have a recommendation of a first-hand account of Taken Tea, like how it feels, pros and cons for the NB in question? B, I have a bunch of videos from, well, actually, I don't know how many of those videos still exist. Because I used to have like a transition playlist, but I think I might have kind of gotten rid of them or like just taken them offline because that's not really what my content is about anymore. But if we look, let me see. Let's look. Sort them by date. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. A lot of those videos are private. So I guess I decided at some point to get rid of all of my old videos showing my transition because I guess I felt at some point like that was way too personal for me to leave it up on the internet like that. So sorry, none of that stuff exists anymore. Wow, I got rid of a lot of stuff. I privated so many things. When did I do that? Well, I was going to say I have a bunch of videos, but I don't have a bunch of videos explaining my transition or anything like that. Yeah, I got rid of like all of these. Oh, well, yeah, okay. So part of it is that I was trying to bring the brand recognition into alignment because I was trying to switch to doing wow, this is shocking how much of this stuff I privated. But I was trying to shift the channel identity to more being about like media related video essays or something earlier this year or last year really. So yeah, I got rid of a lot of the older videos. But anyway, yeah, so taking testosterone, I mean, like, if you're on a super low dose, obviously the biggest difference that you're going to have is just like mentally. If you're like, these are the correct hormones for me, then your brain is just going to kind of figure it out. Like, it's going to kind of just start working better. But you don't really notice any big changes until you've been on it for a few months. One of the first changes that I noticed was I was like, so it's kind of crazy that one of the very first changes I was like, am I experiencing bottom growth already? But that's not something that's supposed to happen until a little bit later on. But it turned out that what I was experiencing was just an increase of blood flow. So, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's every single person who has a video out there on what it's like to take testosterone can tell you like a version of this where it's like, you just kind of fucking figure it out. Like, it gives you acne, it makes you horny, it makes you hungry. That's what it's like for the first year. Pony wants to know, was the feeling that you were born the wrong gender a strong feeling? It used to be a much stronger feeling, and it's not as strong of a feeling anymore, but mostly because I'm much more confident. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't care what they gender me in public. I don't fucking care. And I'm happy with my transition. I have like a lot less dysphoria because I corrected my dysphoria. Like, I was dysphoric about my voice. I took testosterone, my voice got deeper, etc. So it's less of a big deal to me now. I've been out for fucking almost 20 years. You like, listen, guys. If I came out in 2008, or like that's when I knew that I was trans, it was 2008. Yeah, it was like the summer that I was 14. It's been almost 20 years. I don't care anymore what people think about me. So that makes it easier. But, whoa. Are you aiming for partial effects from HRT? How do you control that so you don't go too far one way or the other? Yeah, when I first started hormones, I was like, yeah, I want to take it for a couple of years and then stop, was kind of my thought process when I first started. Because there were certain things I wanted to change, but then other things that I wasn't sure about, or like things that I was excited about, but then when they started happening, it turned out to make me like dysphoric. So being non-binary is weird in that way because you can't really pick and choose what you get. So like if you're trans femme and you start estrogen, you're gonna grow boobs, and there's kind of nothing that you can do about that. I know that there's some like more modern forms of hormone therapy that are aiming to be more specific than that. I don't really know anything medically about that though. So yeah, basically it's like I was just on testosterone until I started feeling dysphoria around fat redistribution. So like I lost a bunch of fat around my hips, and obviously like your breasts get really saggy. It's like if you imagine having a plastic baggie with water in it, that's kind of what your boobs become after a few years on testosterone. So yeah, and then I just stopped at that point, and then I went back on for a couple of years, and then went off, and then went back on. So yeah, basically, with the advice and supervision of a doctor, as long as you're not like hurting yourself, then you can kind of do whatever you want. Like, yeah, maybe you want to start testosterone and take it for long enough for your voice to get deeper. But you don't want a beard. So you stay on a low dose, or maybe you start on a regular dose to make your voice drop, but then you may reduce your dose or go back off of it if the facial hair starts to happen too much. I don't fucking know. Like, do whatever you want. Is kind of what the yeah, like some of it's not optional. You kind of just have to do stuff. Anyway. I had like scrolled way up, so I gotta scroll way back down. Oh, there we go. It just jumped all the way to the present now. Anyway, hi. Thank you so much, Zach, for the $10 super chat. Says, sorry it's not on your website. I'll need to try figuring that out in the future. Still wanted to help a little, though. Thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. That's so nice. I'll add that to the donation goal as well. Thank you. Everybody's so generous today. I really appreciate that. Helping me with things that I need or things that I don't need. I'm like, I want to go back to the thrift store soon and maybe get a couple more items of clothing, but I'm fucking broke. I have like negative money right now. I owe thousands of dollars on credit cards amount of negative money right now. Oh, and like simultaneously, I need to be saving up to pay my quarterly taxes. So like I actually do have a chunk of money right now that is like, it's like simultaneously I have a chunk of money that's reserved for taxes and also a huge amount of credit card debt that I could use this chunk of money to pay off the credit card debt, but then I won't have the chunk of money to pay the taxes. I'm trying not to end up in this situation again next year where I owe $5,000 in taxes and have to scramble to figure out how to pay it. Anyway, that's not what you're here for. You're not here for me to talk about my money situation. I'm from the FBI, the Federal Baby Inspectors, and that cat is 100% baby. Carry on. True, exactly. My partner's Great Dane sat on my hair yesterday while I was laying on the floor. Trapped, pinned, giant doggo, always finding new ways to be a threat to my mobility. That's so funny. My thanks to Luxus for arming me with the arguments that made an absolute fool of a trans medicalist who called into my stream a while back. Fuck yeah. I axed mine because I started picking up stalkers. Oh my gosh, did you get rid of your... Oh, you got rid of some videos, Ember? I did see, like, you've been posting stuff that for members only. Are you basically just like, I'm posting stuff for members only so that I don't end up in that situation of like, oh, there's a stalker? You guys may remember that there was a guy who targeted Demon Mama, and this is like, I think why she stopped streaming, and she's just completely not doing it anymore. But I got really freaked out because that guy was like, Demon Mama and all of her partners and also anyone who even has a website through White Leaf is a pedophile or a pedophile by association. And I was like, holy shit. And that scared me. So yeah, I went through and like deleted years and years and years worth of social media posts, like anything that might have obliquely referred to my location or anything. And it was like scary. So yeah, I don't doubt at all that there are people out there doing crazy shit. And that I'm just lucky that I haven't had anybody try to be crazy at me so far. Like, so far, nobody's tried to be crazy at me. Oh, no. I got hemorrhoids when I started tea, and I thought it was bottom growth. Oh, no, that's terrible. Thank you for the 5 Canadian from X Any All. Appreciate that. A Xanderhall fan, more leftist infighting constantly. Hooray. Wait, a Xanderhall fan? Wait. Was that where Tyler came from? Was he a Xanderhall orbiter? I think the guy was, what was he called? Like West Side Tyler or something? I don't know. I was like, I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. It just freaked me out. It just scared me. Like the idea that, like, it seemed like people were showing up at DM's house and shit like that. What happened with those allegations was DM able to dispute them. She posted a video on her channel around the time that it happened and was like, I think it's basically like her partner was interacting with somebody on Discord and they were trying to keep it appropriate because the person was under 18, but they were going to be turning 18. So they were like, we're trying to like navigate that relationship as safely as possible, which is tricky if you're an online creator and everything. It's like there's always an opportunity for something to go wrong, but I was basically unconvinced that there was any I don't know, any truly fucked up behavior. It did not seem to me like there was anything going on there. And like, listen, I am so accustomed to people outside the queer community calling queer people pedophiles and accusing us of grooming and stuff that, especially because I'm pretty sure Westside Tyler is not queer. I'm like, you have like, to me, and like maybe this is, I don't know, maybe problematic, and I'm open to correction on this, but like I feel like the burden of proof is really, really high for me to be willing to go, oh, this person might actually be a problem. Like, you guys maybe remember, maybe you don't, because this is all fucking bullshit online nonsense, but there was a trans woman called Erin Green, not to be confused with Erin in the Morning. That's a different, like, Erin Reed, right? That's her name. Erin Reed versus Erin Green. Mersh! Oh my God, Mersh, it's so good to see you. I keep seeing Mersh posts about the Appalachian Mountains and all the shit that you should not do. And I think about you. I'm like, you live in the Appalachian woods, basically. That's so fucking scary. But yeah, so Erin Green, at first, I was like, I'm going to go to bat for her because how dare you, or whatever. And then it turned out, like, even learning Erin's own description of events, I spoke to her privately. I think that she acted inappropriately. And I think that there is an extent of like, maybe you didn't know any better when you were younger, like an age gap relationship, 15 years ago when we didn't really understand how inappropriate that was. But in retrospect, you have to be like, and that was inappropriate, and not like dodge and not try to smear the person who's accusing you and all this. So like Erin Green is a person who was accused of bad behavior that I agree did something bad and has been dodging responsibility about it. But in the majority of situations, like, I'm looking to how does the person respond to the allegations? How reliable are the accusations in the first place? I don't know. I just feel like if you're a queer person, and especially if you're a trans person, I take those allegations like less seriously almost, because I'm like, yeah, like you can be a trans person in the general location of a child and people will accuse you of being a rapist. So I'm like, okay, I just think it's fucking ridiculous. A Zan fan messed up her channel and their friendship. I mean, I seem to recall Xander Hall being the kind of proactive burning the bridges guy, which makes sense because he has a lot of fucking trauma, but it doesn't really excuse any of his behavior. I've been making some stuff for members only lately, but then one of the stalkers bought a membership, so I privated the early transition stuff. Yeah. It's just sensitive. And like, I was very young. I was like 21 when I started hormones, which is like, I'm 32 now, and I look back at the person I was when I was 21, and I'm like, oh, that's a baby. That person had no fucking idea what they were doing, and they were struggling, and my heart goes out to the little version of me when I was 21. That's true, Cora. Yeah, it's never actually people you're close to making these accusations. It's always randoms on the internet. Yes. It's tough and it's tricky. Because, like, there are at least two distinct situations that I can recall where, like, I know a trans woman who did something fucked up to someone, sometimes on the axis of that person was way too young. And it's tricky because sometimes you just have to be like, well, the victims are working through the process as best they can, and there's only so much you can do. And then, yeah, there are multiple situations I've witnessed where a trans woman has been pedo-jacketed for no reason, or a trans person has been, or a queer person, right? Like, I just want you all to remember that Vosh was accused of being a pedophile because he had a drawing in his porn folder that was drawn by someone who also draws fuzzy age kind of art. And this is why so many, and like, listen, Vosh has had his issues. I think he has some dog shit takes sometimes, okay? But to accuse someone being a pedophile because they have a hentai drawing on their computer that was drawn by someone who also draws like blurring age dynamics cartoons, which I also don't really think is a significant problem. I don't know. It's crazy seeing people, especially within the queer community, jumping on that, right? Like when Riley Grace Rochong called Doe a pedophile, Doe a victim of CSA and child trafficking, to accuse them of being a pedophile, accuse it of being a pedophile. Like, that's so fucking ridiculous. Yeah, also a good point that just because someone did something bad does not make them a bad person. We all make blunders. We all have stupid mistakes. Like, people are shitty sometimes on purpose. Sometimes people are shitty by accident, and like a certain amount of grace, I think, is warranted. So, how conservatives spend every day calling queer folks pedos while their guy is Epstein's best friend and they are the party of child marriage is beyond me. Yo, yeah. So if you guys might know, I was in some Facebook groups with like people from Oregon, just like trying to get to know what my neighbors think, and they're vile fucking people or bots. I'm willing to capitulate that some of them maybe are bots, and so maybe I've been arguing with ghosts and people who are not real. That's a possibility. But yeah, I think that people are so fucking violently hateful, and yeah, they seem to be immune to any criticism regarding like, well, the Republican Party is the one that supports children getting married as young as age 12. They seem immune to any accusations regarding Epstein. They've just like, there's nothing you can accuse these people of that they'll actually give a shit about. They're like, ha ha ha, another Democrat. And you're like, great, what a fucking productive conversation. It has truly made me hate everyone who lives near me. And then I'm trying to like fix that. I've been in a really shitty mood the last couple weeks. And so I'm trying to pull back from that. At the same time, which is like a good thing that it's counterbalancing, I feel so fucked up about the majority of people around me, and it's just making me want to dive in to being with queer people, which is why I'm like, how do I negotiate going to all these pride events? Like, and I'm like, I really desperately want to make friends in person. Yeah, it's demoralizing to be seeking out community and just finding people who are fucking hateful. Like, I was in this group, and you guys may or may not have heard of this. I know someone who was recently a victim of a violent hate crime, Jay McCrite, who I've known since way before they ever transitioned and way before I started doing any of this kind of work. Like, I've known Jay since fucking, like, legitimately like 17 years ago. We've never been very close, but
Squirrel Knitter has donated $10. 0.
Thank you, Squirrel Knitter. I need to add that. Did I add the previous $10? I think I did. Make sure. Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, you guys are being so generous today. I'm so appreciative. I'm so glad. Listen, I don't have to buy a fucking calculator anymore now. Hell yeah. I'm so prepared. I'm gonna be so prepared for school. I really hope that my grants come in time for me to do any summer shit. What was I in the middle of saying? I don't know what I was saying. I mean, TLDR, I just want to like be around people. Oh, it's Jay McCrite. Which his GoFundMe has been very successful. He's doing good. But I was posting some stuff in this group that was like, so I keep seeing people being like, oh my God, Pride is so creepy. Like, it would be obviously so creepy if I spent an entire month talking about how much I love having heterosexual sex. Oh, I just love having heterosexual sex. I love having sex with my wife. And so I posted some things that were like, we're not proud of who we have sex with. We're proud of our perseverance, or we're proud that we survived, or whatever. We're proud of our community. And I was trying to post stuff like that. And, in like talking about okay, I think I posted one meme that was like, we're trying to celebrate our perseverance in the face of a culture that wants to kill and erase us. And people kept being like, nobody's trying to erase you. No one wants to kill you. And I'm like, literally 2 weeks ago, someone I personally know was stabbed in the neck and like managed to survive and had to have emergency surgery because he's transgender. And I was not prepared for what it would be like for people to accuse me of lying, or to brush that off and be like, I don't care, or be like, cool story, bro. And I think that kind of broke something in me, that I was like, I'm being vulnerable about what my community is going through, and my therapist, my couples therapist was like, it makes sense for you to be upset by that. I'm gonna cry, because like, even when somebody else is a victim of a hate crime, if they're in your demographic, it feels personal because it is personal, right? Like, that attack was not just on that person. That was an attack on us. Like, in an indirect way, it was an attack on me and like almost every single person I care about. So, it was just really unexpectedly difficult to be like, to have people just outright deny that that's happening. And for people to be like, well, where did that happen? I'm like, does it matter? Like, what do you mean? Like, the people were like probing to, I guess, maybe try to find some way to brush it off. Like, oh, well, that happened in like an obviously conservative place, or like that happened in a place that is notoriously violent, therefore who cares? Yeah, and it just makes me so full of hate and anger that I just left the groups. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna. There's so much of that negativity that any amount of class consciousness that I was trying to instill in people by being like, what's up with these middleman scalpers telling you that your doctor can't give you the medical care that they medically determined was necessary. Yeah, not worth it. Just not worth it. At least not online. I might be able to make progress with these people outside of the internet, but I think specifically on the internet, that you can't make progress with these people. They'll put the haha laugh react when you talk about like literally someone got fucking stabbed. So yeah, I'm like, okay. Because I do not want to become a violent, hateful person, I just have to distance myself, because you people are making me want to be violent and hateful. So I'm trying to be the person that I want to be. I'm trying not to let the people around me make me into a worse version of myself, or like reframing it non-judgmentally. Like, I don't want to be turned into a person that I don't want to be. I don't want to be made to feel a certain way that is not in alignment with how I perceive myself, right? Like, I don't perceive myself as somebody who's fucking hateful. I don't want to be fucking hateful. I don't want to see people out in public and be like, you're a piece of shit and I barely think you're fucking human. Like, but I kind of like, if your empathy is that broken, I do kind of on some level feel like there is no way to rehabilitate you. We cannot live in a world together. I really want to just ship you off into some, like, you can go live on the trash island in the middle of the ocean, and I don't really give a fuck what happens to you after that point. So instead of becoming that person, I'm just trying to distance myself from that. And I'm going to like try to make more friends, try to be more present in my community. And this kind of relates back to the trauma stuff. So I'm reading this book called The Body Keeps the Score. It's considered like a very, very good book about trauma. To be clear, you should be wary of reading it if you are triggered by a lot of mentions of like sexual assault. It doesn't like go in detail on any of these things, but it's like, and this person was going through this, and this is what happened to them, and here's how they coped or didn't cope with it. So there's a lot of kind of triggering material in there. But some of the things that we've learned about trauma is that it causes the language center of your brain to shut down, basically. Like, especially when you're actively in a flashback, it causes the language part of your brain just basically turns off. And a lot of your kind of higher functioning situations, like your brain, like powers down in so many ways. So, and the author criticizes exposure therapy a little bit, which I did 2 rounds of exposure therapy. And he was basically like, yeah, it can reduce people's sensitivity, but it doesn't necessarily address some of the underlying things with trauma. And I'm only a quarter of the way through the book, so I've still got like a while left to read. The treatment portion is toward the end, but some stuff that really helps with trauma symptoms is like getting moving in your body and like repetitive physical motions, and especially repetitive physical motions in social dynamics. So like throwing a ball back and forth. Or he said that like a person might benefit more from helping arrange the chairs before the meeting starts than they benefit from sitting in a group therapy meeting in the first, like, so like just physically showing up and being present and having a task that you do with other people can be so immensely beneficial to the traumatized brain. And so that's kind of like where my head's at. Like, I want to go be with people. Like, I want to go to an event and hold hands with my friends. Like, I want to go to Pride and hold hands. Like, the simple things, you know? Let's see, I gotta scroll up in YouTube because somebody said something. Honest, true. Pew Pew Banana says, I wish straight cis people would never talk about queer people because their own beliefs are always informed by trends than any solid principles. Yeah. Ultimately, the reason why I ended up leaving that group on Facebook was because I got to a point where I was just like, people were posting about trans people and I was just commenting like, shut the fuck up about trans people. We're fine. Thanks. Shut the fuck up about trans people. And I was like, you have left the realm of having a conversation that is at all productive. And it's not going to change whether this person posts about us. I'm just like lashing out at people hatefully, and that's not the kind of person that I'm trying to be. It's not the kind of space that I'm trying to be in. It's not fucking useful. It's useful for me to argue with people on Takis and all that. That has a demonstrable impact, a demonstrable difference. It does make a difference. Yelling at fucking idiots in the chat, or on Facebook comments, is just like not beneficial. It is literally only a poison in my heart, is how it feels. hope your school doesn't have the same IT issues mine had. They're supposed to be doing some kind of crazy update to their website, so we'll fucking see. We'll find out. It's like, I guess they might as well figure it out over the summer term before fall, but still, it's like, yeah. Yeah, I agree. People have been trained not to care about anything that isn't them or directly adjacent to them. Yeah, I can agree. After my friends were murdered, having their lives dismissed, being told that they deserved it and we should all be killed anyways, by Walter Hudson, Minnesota representative, in his arguments against banning the trans panic defense, we get murdered and then we get death threats for daring to grieve in public. Yeah. It just makes me want to become a terrible human being. Like, it just makes me want to be a version of myself that I don't want to have to become. Yeah, every time I hear about something like that, I think, yeah, that could have been me or someone I love. And also acknowledge that they attacked a demographic I'm part of, and it scares me. And I wish I wish my mom could understand that. I wish family member could understand. I wish anybody, like, who isn't directly affected could understand. But I get, like, and there's this other thing too, where I don't think I even understood the impact that anti-queer stuff could have on me until I went to an AIDS art exhibit, and it hit me like a fucking truck that, like, I'm not just gay on my own. Like, that by being gay, I'm part of a community with a heritage. Like, I'm part of a community that has had to suffer a lot of losses. And it's just tough. Reject yelling at idiots on Facebook. Embrace yelling at idiots on the line. True. Yeah, for sure. Oh, wait. Melanie, are you saying that the Body Keeps the Score is an assigned reading for your trauma-informed care class? That's fucking cool. I'm almost out of tissues. That's what I get for talking about transphobia. Okay, now I'm not gross anymore. Bye, Aggie Jones. Have a good day. Have a good day. Get my glasses back on so I can fucking read. Has the line always been so idiotic? I don't know. I feel like it comes and goes. Like, the stupid people come and go, you know? Let's see. Mersh says, I've started to meditate more and studying Western esotericism in order to cope and understand the world better. It has really helped. I do not have as much anger and hatred as I did before. Yes, I will say, yeah, meditation, meaning like a mindfulness meditation, which doesn't mean you empty your mind for 10 solid minutes. That's not the goal. Your goal is to focus your attention on something. And every time your attention wavers and you draw your attention back, that practice is the goal of meditation. It's about awareness. And yeah, that can shrink the size of your amygdala, which is the part of your brain that's like the smoke alarm, like the fire alarm, smoke detector, basically, which is the metaphor that the author of The Body Keeps the Score uses. And yeah, so meditation, mindfulness, that type of stuff, teaching your body that you're safe, like activating the sympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic, whichever one it is that calms you down, deep breathing, that kind of shit actually can help you as well. So I did find The Body Keeps the Score to be a good understanding point, but it has a lot of shortfallings in understanding marginalized communities. Much like The Ethical Slut, I feel like it was good, but not the perspective that is most helpful. At one point I had The Ethical Slut on my wish list, and somebody was like, "Oh, that book is like fine, but it's not as good as this other book." So, which I still have, even though we haven't been in an open relationship for a long time. And I don't actually think I read this book at the time, even, but it's called Opening Up: A Guide to Creating and Sustaining Open Relationships by Tristan Taormino. Anyway, this was a book that was recommended to me instead of The Ethical Slut. I don't know if it has problems, but whatever. Just a little recommendation from my bookshelf to yours. I love at Pride that cuddle puddle of friends in the shade after hours of walking around and socializing. Yeah, I've personally never experienced that, but yeah. I think positively, but I also carry legally licensed defense tools, keep situational awareness wherever I go. Yes, true. Yeah, exactly. And like, I was asking Demon Mama, her thoughts on attending Pride this year, and she was like, I don't know if I plan to because of all the hatred toward our community that is like making her feel scared to have fellowship with other trans people or other queer people in public. And I was like, yeah, I feel that, but I just feel so compelled to be around my people that like the compulsion, like that feeling of intensity, like I want to be with my people is greater than the feeling of fear that something bad might happen to us while we're there. But we could, like, I don't know. I might die at a Pride event this year. You know what I mean? Like, shit might happen. Jason Clear Skies says the best thing I ever did for my mental health was delete all my social media. I know, but it's my job. That's the struggle. The struggle is real. Wait. Okay, so HIKI is the name of an app that B is recommending in the chat. Is it high key? Is it pronounced high key? Because that's so fucking funny for a faggot app. Oh, yeah, it's for neurodivergent people. Okay. Not the same as a gay people app. Okay. I thought for a second. Like high key? Oh my God. Inspector Magnetics, hello. Demetrius, yeah, if you have a question, I can answer it in the chat. I'm like, there's just enough people in the chat that I can't respond to every single person, but I do my best, like, to answer questions and stuff. So you can post your question if you want to. I was wondering if anyone had any good book references for being agender and not feeling trans enough. I'm looking for experiences that relate to mine. No, I don't know of any. And all I will say is that there is anticipation building in that area, and you should watch this space. I can't say more than that right now, but I don't know personally of any books about being non-binary. If anybody else has recommendations, please do leave them, because I have books mostly from like binary trans people. Like I have Amateur, I have Detransition Baby, which it's fiction and I haven't actually read it. I have She's Not There by Jenny Boylan. A lot of the books that I have are not like about non-binary specifically. They're also not all in here, so I might be missing some on my other shelf, but Kate Bornstein. Oh, Judith Butler. Obvious Judith Butler, right? I would love to read Judith Butler's stuff. I'm hoping to find some more cool titles on audiobook, especially through the library. God, you guys, listen. I've been like reading books, but by that I mean I can just listen to them while I drive to Walmart. And I'm getting so much more like mental stimulation in, and it's It's really great. Yeah, Gender Outlaw. Yeah, read Judith Butler if you're like, I want to read about non-binary gender or like deconstructing gender. Anger is information that you feel wronged and can absolutely be valid and healthy. Yeah, I feel like so I have borderline. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And so sometimes my emotions can be really intense. And sometimes I like have mean thoughts that I feel are not consistent with my values. And that's the area where I struggle. Is like, yeah, anger is information, but if in my anger I say something ineffective or hurtful, I would literally rather internalize my anger and process it on my own time. And like, I would rather not be angry. Like, I would rather not even tell someone I know that I'm angry. Which could be maladaptive, like, which is something that we're gonna have to listen. I'm in couples therapy and I'm fucking mad at my partner about some stuff, and like, we're gonna find out what that looks like. Because I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to get into much on that. We're not gonna get into much on that today, but Judith Butler is hard to read. Oh, is it just like high level theory that can be hard to read? I'm not sure. Banana Brains recommends a book called Non-Binary: Memories of Gender and Identity, written by Micah Ruzhanov and Scott Duane. Cool. It's a collection of first-person stories from a variety of genderqueer, non-binary, and trans folks. Fuck yeah! Butler's older works are a bit dense, like philosophy stuff, but their newer work is a lot more accessible. Cool. More recent Judith Butler. I'm confused about gender fluidity. I believe men can have feminine attributes and vice versa, but I'm confused about when we should recommend gender-affirming surgery over free expression of gender. The amazing thing about that, Demetrius, is that while you personally might be confused about when intervention should be recommended, there are doctors who literally fucking study this. It's their entire thing. And it's gonna vary case by case, and mostly we should let the patient lead, and the doctor is mostly there to help the patient figure out what the right answer for them is. And the regret rate for transition is super low, so I think that we're on the right track so far. And for children, like anyone under the age of 18, they have to be persistent, insistent, and consistent about their gender identity for a number of years before we will allow any kind of intervention, including like even just pausing their puberty to give them a couple more years to be professionally evaluated. So yeah, I mean, like, if you are personally not sure whether you should pursue transition, that is a question that would be easily handled between you and your therapist or you and your doctor. But if you're like wondering about in general, when do we recommend gender affirming surgery over quote free expression of gender? First of all, free expression of gender thing is going to come first, no matter what. Unless you're seeing a therapist who is actively like a Christian therapist who's trying to deconvert people from being gay, the first answer is always going to be express yourself, see what feels good, figure out what the right, you know, like, do you like nail polish or do you like long hair or whatever? Like, that is always going to be the first step in anybody's process. And then you can kind of figure out, okay, this is making me happy, or this isn't enough. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe you can try hormones and see how that works. And you can try hormones for a couple months and it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to do anything permanent to you, basically. And you can just see if it makes you feel better under an informed consent model. Yeah, so there is no like one right answer because every person is different. Every person needs something different at different points in their process. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just not like a big deal to me. Anger is tricky. I suppress it and avoid it, usually by dissociation. Yeah, I'm realizing that I am very much like avoiding my feelings right now. And so I'm trying to be more embodied. And I need my own therapist. Like, I started couples therapy with my partner a few months ago, and it's just becoming so clear that I also need a therapist just on my own. And I've just been a little bit lazy about following up because I did speak with a social worker like a month ago and got a list of therapists to reach out to. And I'm like, yeah, but now I have to do work and reach out to therapists and see who's the right fit and who has availability and all this kind of stuff. I guess it's good that I waited a little bit because I have classes coming up and I'm going to be in class 4 days a week. And so it's like, okay, now I know for sure what my availability is like and I can schedule for therapy, perhaps. Banana. Yum, yum, yum. Have you considered fighting your partner to the death? No. If you're at that point, just leave. You know what? Speaking of like trying not to become a person that you don't want to become, if you're at a point where you're like, I want to be physically violent with my partner, just leave. Just leave. Any help available through your college? As far as mental health stuff, probably, but I have like really good insurance. So I'm just going to go through my insurance company. Do you have any advice for coming out as non-binary? You guys are making it hard not to turn this into an announcement stream. I made an entire video about how to come out a couple years ago on my channel. No, I don't. I mean, write a letter, send her YouTube videos to watch about it. Like, I don't have good advice because every situation is so unique. I don't know how to give you advice about your mom because I don't know you or your mom. This is why it's good to have a therapist. Yeah, but like I encourage writing letters or writing emails so that you don't have to deal with the immediate reaction that sometimes there's like rejection or denial or an upsetting amount of questions that you might receive. So I generally recommend like thinking your thoughts out, writing them down. Keep it simple too. Like, don't try to preempt every question that they might have, but like send them a letter and then give them time to think about it and then reconnect at a later time, or maybe even in the letter be like, I would like to talk to you. Let's get lunch on this day in a couple weeks so that we can talk about it and I can answer your questions, but just give them time to like process it. Louisiana recommends a book called It's Not You by Dr. Ramani Durvasula. It's about narcissistic abuse, and the intro alone made me cry. Let me look that up. This might be a person I've seen. Dr. Ramani Durvasula. Yeah, I've seen her. I've watched her YouTube videos. She talks about narcissistic abuse. Healing from narcissistic relationships. Yeah, I've seen her before. I told my trans partner I wanted to get bottom surgery, and they unfortunately said they aren't attracted to that. I find even trans people sometimes can have a lot of assumptions about body parts. Like, everybody has these assumptions, like, oh, you get this surgery and suddenly you're gonna turn into a different person, like, or you're not gonna like to have sex the way that we've always had sex or whatever. Yeah, it's tricky. But it's like, if you're on hormones, then your genitals are already more and more similar to the target genitals. Like your genitals probably already smell like and have a texture that's similar to the genitals that you want to get surgery about. That's so weird. I'm sorry. I know it's like a weird topic. I don't want to like get into your genitals specifically, but it's like, I don't know, it's just a weird. People are like, oh my God, I couldn't date a trans man. I am so grossed out by vaginas. Like, okay, so but like his vagina smells like ball musk, right? Like, I don't know. People just, whatever. Have you tried betting dominance in the relationship on a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos? This is revolutionary. We gotta start implementing Hungry Hungry Hippos. I listen, I have never understood the idea of like having angry sex, like being angry at your partner and being like, we should fuck this out. I never really understood that. I don't really get it. Me personally. Have you tried that thing where you write angry letters to your loved ones and then not send them? I have. Mostly I have like many, many untitled Google documents that are like me really laying out how fucked up a situation is, or like really being shitty and pissy at someone. And sometimes I end up using that constructively. Maybe writing it would be more effective. I do journal sometimes, so I've got like a journal where if I'm feeling really fucked up, I'll like write out my thoughts and I'll like get all scratchy on the paper and everything and like ruin the next 2 pages. So get your emotions out somehow, I've always been curious to try angry/hate sex, but honestly, I don't know how that would even happen. Right. I think it has to be like you're like in a relationship and you're just mad at that person, as opposed to like, this is someone you genuinely hate. Or like, I guess it could be a situation where you have like a lot of physical attractiveness to a person whose personality you kind of hate. Wait. Is this what men do the overwhelming majority of the time? Are men out there like mostly having hate sex? Because they hate women, right? Like not hashtag not all men or whatever, but like many men hate women and also desire their bodies. So like, are the majority of men hate fucking the women that they're fucking? I don't know. The pheromones tricked me for 30 years. Why my partner smell like home if he not safe like home? That's so interesting. In the book that I'm reading, so they talk about experiments that were done on other species sometimes, and like they had mice and they had 2 cohorts of mice. They had mice that had like quiet, safe home. Nest is in a safe, quiet place. And then other mice that had really noisy, kind of unsafe feeling environment where their nest was. And they were doing the experiment of like play a loud noise or like surprise them somehow. And both cohorts of mice scurry back to their nest for a feeling of safety. So even the mice for whom their nest didn't feel particularly safe, they still ran back to the relative safety of their nest. Because there is a level with trauma of like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. So, even if if your parent is abusive or if your partner is shitty to you or something, the whole like, oh my God, my brain just fell apart. I read something in the chat. Andrew, how dare you? You fucked up my thought process. So even if your person is kind of unsafe to some degree, your brain still is like familiar with that. And this is part of the reason why even many years into recovery, sometimes addicts will relapse because they're like, they feel safe in the drug, or they feel safe around the type of people who do the drugs because no, you're fine, Andrew. That was a joke. And that kind of does create some questions. You know, if you're like, I'm doing my best to improve a situation, there is some degree of like self-awareness that it's good to have, where you're like, is the situation actually salvageable, or am I just still in it because it's familiar? Like, am I going to get what I need out of this, or am I just hoping that this person or this place or whatever it is just going to stop hurting me? Like, can I have both the familiarity and the absence of ongoing trauma, I guess? Like, I think for a lot of us, we're like, yeah, well, the preferable thing is I don't have to cut off my mom. The preferable thing is I don't have to get a divorce. Like, can the person who's causing me so much grief just like stop? Can I just tell them how they're hurting me and then they'll stop doing it? Like, we prefer the familiarity, and we will put ourselves through so much shit in order to preserve that familiarity at our literal expense, like at the expense of our health. So I'm kind of dealing with that a little bit myself, of like, how much of a given situation am I in because I want to be in it versus like it's just familiar. And like, I'm struggling with substances right now, because I'm like, I want to be out of my body. Like, I'm clearly seeking some kind of relief, and I am only getting it when I am not mentally present. And that's why so many people with trauma have addiction, is because, and like, it's even trickier when you have ADHD, and like, it's addiction is much easier to form when you have ADHD and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's like feeling like you don't have the skills to cope with what you're going through is what leads people to this kind of distract or escape. Kind of like, if you come home and you immediately start watching TV and you need constant information coming into your brain, and if you need constant distraction, and you know, someone was describing this to me recently, that they were like, yeah, and I feel like, you know, when I'm struggling with something, I can be 100% in the moment and like laughing at whatever I'm watching and like fully enjoying myself. And then I step away from whatever that distraction was, and then I'm feeling all my feelings again. I'm like right back in that same place. And I'm like, yeah, that's called not processing your feelings. Like, that's called avoidance. And no fucking wonder. Like, and somebody who was describing that to me was like describing themselves as delayed processor. And I'm like, I don't actually think that that's delayed processing. I think that's a refusal to process. The reason why it takes you months to realize, oh, actually, that thing happened that was fucked up and I didn't like it, is because you refuse to embody your feelings. Like, you refuse to be in your body. And so I was really upset about something after therapy last week, and I was reading at night to try to calm down. I was reading the Alexandra Horowitz book that y'all may have seen the Tumblr post about it. It's about, she goes on walks in New York City with different subject matter experts. And it's like, what different things can you notice once it's brought to your attention? So you go on a walk with a geologist, and suddenly you're noticing like, oh, all of this architecture stuff, or go on a walk with a entomologist, and now you're suddenly seeing signs of bugs everywhere, like these different kinds of things. And I was reading that book, and I had been reading it for like about 45 minutes when I realized that I was not able to focus because I kept getting distracted by whatever was going on in my brain. Like, I just kept getting distracted from what I was trying to, and I was sitting down reading. I was not like listening to an audiobook. And I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to stop reading and I'm just going to lay here on my couch and just like think about what I'm thinking about, which was whatever happened in therapy that night. And so, yeah, like sometimes you just have to be like, yeah, that was upsetting and I didn't feel heard, and just kind of let the thoughts play out, and like trying to avoid too much cyclical rumination and rather just being like, yeah, and I feel not great about how that went, and just letting yourself be there and be like, yes, I hear you. Like, I hear how frustrating that is. The kinds of validation skills that you would use if you were talking to someone you know who is struggling with something. If you hold that space for yourself, that can also feel really good and reduce the intensity. Is that why people with trauma have memory lapses? There is no processing. Yeah, well, the issue with trauma is that your brain kind of doesn't incorporate the memories down in a way that's like, there's most events in our lives have a clear beginning, middle, and end. And even the traumatic event has a clear beginning, middle, and end. The problem is once trauma has settled in, that whenever you think back on the traumatic event, your brain, it might as well be happening right now. Like all of your biomechanisms, like all of your biometric information and your thought processes and what's happening in your brain and your heart and your blood pressure is all functionally identical to the moment that you were in the trauma. And so that's part of why people like exposure therapy, because exposure therapy can kind of help work the memory down. Basically, the type of work that you have to do is like acknowledge the thing that happened, acknowledge the memory, but also be very grounded in your body right now so that your brain gets the fucking picture that this was an event that occurred in the past. Yeah, it's kind of like a filing error. So instead of the memory being stored in your long-term memory banks, it's in your prefrontal as like an event that's currently happening. Your brain can't tell the difference. And so that's where like the flashback happens. That's where the trauma really gets stuck. Yeah, I've heard of EMDR therapy. EMDR is like relatively new, but it's people say lots of good things about its efficacy. I could see myself doing EMDR. I did a little bit of EMDR, but my therapist wasn't primarily trained in that. She had just been to a training relatively recently and was like, let's try like a little bit of this. Let's try a little bit of bilateral stimulation or whatever. So yes, I've done a little bit of EMDR, and I do think it is highly impactful for some people. Like clearly it does make a big difference, but yeah. Hi, Billy. Yes, I agree. No, I think it's the same type of thing, Billy, where it's like, I just don't want to think, but that's not helping get to a resolution. So yeah, it's like, I don't want to think about whatever hurtful thing. I don't want to be feeling these feelings. So I think something that I probably ought to do, and I'm going to try doing over the next couple weeks, is like when I have the urge to use substances, like I think that the thing that I need to do is really try to tap in. Like, what am I feeling right now that's making me want to do that? What is it that's going on? And maybe I'm going to use a little bit of urge surfing, which is a type of mindfulness technique where you basically just like let yourself fully experience the feeling of the urge, but without acting on it. So that can be helpful. And yeah, just trying to connect back to like, what is it that I want to numb? What is it that I want to be quiet right now? And can I instead choose to sit with that feeling and be with it and hear it out? And yeah, maybe I should journal or whatever. But like reaching for, and like I want to be clear, substances are a tool in the toolbox. Like obviously that it accomplishes a goal for people, like people who have like severe PTSD from like combat experience. They might be using alcohol because they can't sleep otherwise. You know, maybe they otherwise they have nightmares, and drinking alcohol prevents them from having a dream sleep. So like it is a tool in the toolbox. And so it's good to reduce the amount of shame and stigma around it, because it's like, yes, this is accomplishing something for you. It's clearly doing something for you. However, the negative health impacts of drinking so much that you pass out are significant, and it's not something that you want to subject yourself to on a regular basis. So getting a sleeping aid, like a sleeping pill that works, or getting to a place with therapy where you have the skills that you need to be calm, or what have you, whatever the thing is, there is a different solution to the problem. And I've had someone describe this to me as like high risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward. Thank you, Billy. I'll read that in 1 second. So like drinking alcohol is a high risk, high reward behavior. So there's a lot of risk around drinking that much, but you get a lot out of it. It reduces your inhibitions. It reduces your anxiety. It makes it possible for you to fall asleep at night, whatever. Versus like low risk, low reward. So maybe like the breathing exercises that you've learned in therapy are a lot less risky, but maybe they're also less effective at the very specific thing that you're getting out of drinking alcohol, as an example, you know, like, and it's a cumulative benefit where you do the breathing exercises and maybe it does reduce how upset you are today. But the real benefit of doing the breathing exercises is that it can prevent you from feeling whatever that original feeling was in the first place in 8 weeks from now, if you're doing it daily. So that is the trade-off, basically. High risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. So you might struggle still. Like you might do the breathing exercise and you might be like, I still don't feel perfect. Like I still don't feel great. All you need it to do is take the edge off enough that you don't do the high risk behavior. But maybe you do the breathing exercises and you've done it for 3 days in a row and it hasn't made you feel any less like you want to drink. And so you do end up giving in on the 3rd day, right? But it's like, it's not about being perfect. It's just about having patterns and accumulating more positives and chipping away and working diligently a little bit daily. And so hopefully that those moments where you're like, I desperately need to drink, reduce in intensity and reduce in frequency. Billy, thank you so much. You are so generous. And I hope that things are going well with you. With the $50 donation, thank you so much. Says, I welcome you to contact me directly if you ever need someone to just talk with, to process emotions, whether it's a silent board or a person whose brain you want to pick. I know this struggle personally, and having safe people to talk to helps. Thank you so much, Billy. I am trying to be better about reaching out to my friends when I need help. And I'm like potentially gonna have a trip soon where I get to see a lot of my friends in person, and I'm really feeling motivated to get to know people in my physical proximity a little bit more. So I feel like I'm doing okay on talking to people and reaching out to people, and I'm going to get my own therapist soon. But I really appreciate that. And I know that you've been struggling with some stuff recently too. I don't know what. I just know that Jimmy obliquely referred to you having some trouble with something. So I hope that you're doing well. And we always appreciate seeing you and having conversations and everything. Bye, Meffy. Bye, 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 bye. Let me add that donation to the thingy-bar. That puts us at $170. Another $30, and I will bother Mina once again. I can't flex for you today because I'm not wearing a bra under this shirt, and I'm not going to get my tits out to flex my arm muscles that are relatively unimpressive. I am not doing any biceps focused exercises. I'm focusing completely on like my shoulders and my back. And I'm also kind of feeling a little bit like I'm not ever going to see the kind of physical results that I want. But that's just because I'm not feeling good. You're really brave to figure out what you need and how to deal with feelings and be in relationship. Thank you. I don't know that it feels like bravery to me. Sometimes it's like shit just has to happen. Like shit just has to be done, and it doesn't feel brave. Like, you know, when I found out my younger sibling had been educationally neglected for 10 years, it did not feel like, oh, you're doing something so good by helping them get their GED. I was like, there is only one option, and it's I have to help. Like, you know, I don't know. Thank you, Fern, for becoming a member of the Horde. I don't do a whole lot for the YouTube memberships. If I'm being completely honest, you get way more benefit by being a member of my Patreon, but I do know that some people just don't have a Patreon account, so I give the option for the Horde over here. But you do get custom emojis and a green name in chat. So those are things that you do get access to. Isn't that wonderful? I got to do more core work. My back kills me sometimes. Yes. Core work and low back exercises and stabilization around your hips all can help with that. I don't know what your particular issues are, but yeah, I get low back pain, and I'm just basically like working on my low back stability by doing hyperextensions and stuff like that. What is EMDR? EMDR stands for like, it's like eye movement something. I can't remember exactly, but EMDR is basically a type of therapy where they use physical tricks while you're looking at the memory. So they might guide you through like bilateral tapping. What I used to do is we did like butterfly hands, and I would tap my chest while processing a memory. And it was like you were trying to keep it at a low speed while you're thinking about it. Some EMDR practices are like they have you look in a specific direction while you're thinking about the memory. And something about, in particular, the way that the optic nerve is connected into your brain, that it just can basically allow you to rewire where the memories are sitting in your
Drea
body.
has donated
It's very
$30.
strange.
My neurodivergence demands evening out the number.
Thank you, Drea, so much for the $30 donation. My neurodivergence demands evening out the number. Well, we can't have uneven numbers. Yeah, EMDR equals black magic that works. It's crazy. It's crazy how effective it is, from what I understand. I haven't done a lot of it myself, but hey, maybe. Hey, baby girl. Can I torture you again? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna torture her again. She can't even do anything about it. She's so tiny. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Thank you, Cora, for the name on that. She's baby. Hi. I know. How dare I do this twice? How dare I? How dare? How dare? How could I do such a thing? Oh, baby. You can just point out to her that she is paying for her room and board. That's true. That's true. You gotta pay for your room and board somehow. This is how you pay for it. You gotta show off the goods. Yeah? Yeah, you show off the goods? This is Mina. 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 She is a good girl. I'm so surprised at how cool you are. You being very cool? You being very good? Yeah? I've just taken her twice from where she was sleeping or laying down, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna bother you. Am I bothering you? Are you so sad? Oh, that's what's going on. You have a claw very close to my nipple. Ah. Well, why are you clawing me on my nipple? I don't know why you're doing that either. Mina from Bram Stoker's Dracula. No, she's kind of... Ah! Do you just do that one more time for the microphone? One more time? Yeah? You're a good girl. I love you very much. Mina from Bram Stoker's Dracula. No, she's kind of named after the main character from Noita, but also not really. Mina says, freedom! Yes, that's true. I love you, baby. Hi, baby. The great thing is, even when I piss her off a little bit, she doesn't go very far. Like, she's laying on the floor right now. She's like, hey, I'm gonna lay down here. If anything, she probably wants me to beat her up. She's like, beat me up, please. She's one of those. Like, she wants to be pet, rough. She wants to be beaten upon. She wants to go, ah. So, yeah, that's Mina. Every single day, Mina chooses violence. And she's choosing violence a little bit less nowadays because it's been almost 4 months, and I think she's finally kind of starting to acclimate. And maybe, like, when we give her affection, instead of getting overwhelmed, she is actually just kind of starting to be cool with affection instead of, like, not knowing what to do with herself and then biting. But she still does. She still does bite, TBH. The judgment is strong with this one. She is. You're very judgmental. Did you know that, Mina? Yeah, I'm talking to you, good girl. She's, like, facing away from me, but her ears are fully, like, she's listening to me. She's like, what are you doing over there? Yeah, I'm talking about you, Mina. Yeah. I say her name and she actually, like, looks around. You give her butt bongos? You gotta give her butt bongos. Yeah. I bongo on her whole body. I'm very gentle. But I'm like... And she's like... Ah! And then you stop and she's like... And you start bumping on her again and she's like... Ah! The noise fluctuates because you're beating on her, you know? Or you like shake her a little bit. She just really likes to be treated a little bit rough. So... I try to give her what she wants. My dog shows love with his teeth when he gets excited, but very good bite inhibition, good boy. Every day, and it's kind of like chilled out because the last couple days I haven't given her as much spice, but like every day I have little tiny marks all over my right hand. I got like a scratch over here on my arm the other day. Every day, she's like... Most of the marks that I get are from, like, I'm, like, moving real fast, and she's trying to grasp me with her claws, and then I like, move my hand away, and so she accidentally claws me. She's really good. She's very sweet. And I do think that, like, I agree, my partner thinks that this is mostly, like, her not really knowing what to do with all of her big feelings when she's being pet or given attention. So, yeah. My cat loves to wrestle. He has a big voice. I think the more intense it is, the happier she is. Because you'll, like, flip her around and she'll, like, twist around and, like, I don't know. She's a little acrobat. And I think she likes it. I think the more you, like, you're, like, trying to dodge getting bit, but she's kind of still holding onto your arm, so you end up dragging her. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's very fun. Thanks for getting my name right. I'll say it was kind of dope when Riverboat Jack read my super chat once as Fire in the Forest. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the two F's at the beginning make it a little bit different, like whatever. But yeah, Fern. Fern. Yeah. I don't know. I'm like really good at language. And so I'm consequently really good at names. But Billy says, she reminds me of my Calico, TK. She has the brain damage because a pit bull fractured her skull when she was a kitten, so she has zero thoughts, but just as adorable. I really need to get a video of Mina, because sometimes if your hand is like on her like this, she's trying to bite you like this. She's also reaching up her back paw and she wants to kick your hand, but what she does is she kicks herself in the head a bunch. And you're like, stop. You're so dumb. She's so dumb. It's so funny. Oh my god. Like, made me laugh way harder than I was expecting. She's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, it's so funny. Oh my god. Oh my god. And like she meows and she goes like like a goat, like with her little tongue stuck out. She's so stupid. Oh my god. It's so funny. Oh, and recently, so one of the games that I play with Mina is You Can't Bite Me. Is the name of the game. And she's like trying to bite my hand, and I'm doing all this, like getting around her head and like around her face, or like I'll put my fingers like under her chin, and she's like and she can't reach. And one time I was doing that, and I'll put my hand above her head on her forehead, and I realized, I was like, wait, I could feel something wet. And I was like, I think that she just pressed her eyeball against my hand. I was like, are you that stupid? She's that stupid. She, like, in trying to bite me, just smushed her eyeball into my palm. I'm like, oh my god, you're so fucking ridiculous. She's so stupid, and it's so funny. Ugh. God bless. God bless these fucking cats. Oh my god. You can get Fern's name right, but not mine. Yeah, I know. I think you even told me how to say it right, and every time I'm like, Rupreme. I don't know. It's like Supreme, maybe, in my brain. You Can't Bite Me. We got the same cat. Yeah. One of the games that we play is You Can't Bite Me, and she's ferocious when we're playing You Can't Bite Me. She's like, I want to bite you so bad. Annoying the cat is a national pastime. Listen, she's not even mad. She wants the violence. You know? Sometimes I'm like, I'm trying to be careful. You know, like, I don't want to... Sometimes I'm like, is she aggressive because she actually doesn't like me? Or, like, does she not like what I'm doing? No, she likes me a lot, actually. She just wants violence. And I keep giving it to her, which is why she hangs out with me all day. Don't you? You hang out with me all day? She's a little fucking bean. Little bean. Mina is tired. Little tail wag too. Yeah. I've also been considering... I saw someone on Reddit saying that they were having issues with one of their cats, like, running around all night. And... she was like, I started just like anytime I saw that cat asleep during the day, I would go bother him and wake him up. And he figured it out pretty quick that we sleep at nighttime. And I'm kind of thinking about doing that with her, where I'm like, I'm just bothering her during the daytime. Like, I'm considering basically just bothering her anytime she's trying to nap during the daytime so that she naps at nighttime. Because here's really what I want. I want her to hang out in the bed with us at nighttime. Like, I want her to chill. I want her to be on the bed, but she's like active at night. She doesn't want to be in the bedroom with us. So I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe I'm just going to start bothering her all day long. A recent study showed that cats regard humans as peers, like big dumb kittens. Makes sense. Yep. My roommates and I throw our cats onto the couch, and they act all mad about it, and then run back for it to happen again. Yeah. They want to be roughhoused. They really crave all the violence. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, now you can see the violence inherent in the system. Yeah, precisely. If she didn't like you, she wouldn't be near you. Yeah. At first I was like, I don't know, do you like me? Because, like, she'll spend more time in my partner's lap. Oh, it's RU Prime. Optimist Prime. Some people call me Rue or are you. So long as I know you're talking about me and it's respectful, I don't care. Yeah. Okay. Are you Prime? So I could just call you Prime, right? I could call you Prime. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, man. I just... accidentally got my ulnar nerve. That felt weird for a second there. Cats do sleep more than humans, though, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, no, I'm familiar. And she still will have the option, like, one of the windows in the house, she kind of chills in the windows, and I don't really bother her. Like, if she's chilling in the windows, I kind of treat that as her sacred space to some extent, where I'm like, oh, well, she's in the window. I might talk to her. I might be like, oh, hey, you're in the window. How you doing? But I try not to, like, touch her or otherwise try to get at her. I feel like she deserves at least one or two places where nobody bothers her. Look out for their evil twin. Are you crime? True. Oh, we're looking at another mammal. May Spitfire says, rat like equals rat stay. Rat don't like equals rat don't stay. Yeah. She's just a little terrorist. I think we are gonna get her a companion cat, probably. Like, because it seems, you know, I've heard someone call the window cat TV. Yeah, window is cat TV. It's actually really funny because sometimes I'll have her in my lap, because so my partner gets more success with her being in the lap. She doesn't want to be in my lap. But if I hold her and I put on squirrels or birds or something on YouTube, she'll watch it and she won't try to get down. In fact, what she will sometimes try to do is try to get closer to the TV monitor. And then if I turn that off usually, and then I put her down, she usually goes and runs toward one of the windows where she can see birds outside. She's like, I'm not done with TV time, effectively. But yeah, my partner has a lot more success with getting her to sit in his lap. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because he just tries harder. But, so at first I was like, oh, I guess she likes him better. But now when it's the weekend and, like, we're both home, if it's the morning time, because I'll sleep in on the weekends and my partner still gets up at basically the same time, she'll be in his office with him in the morning. But then once I'm up, she's with me. And she's not in my lap, but she's, like, in my vicinity. She's in my area. So it's like she likes me more, but not in a way that's like she's in my lap more. I don't really understand what her behavior is about. But we've also only had her for 4 months. She's barely a year old. Warmer resting body temp. Yeah, he is warmer than I am, but she's a long-haired cat, so we actually think that it's more likely that she's uncomfortable because of heat, and that's why she doesn't want to be in our laps very much. I'm squishier. Like, I'm softer. You would think that my juicy thighs might be a softer bed situation, but yeah, we're thinking about getting her a companion cat because she wants to play all the time, and, like, you know, it just might be good for her. And if she doesn't ever come around to, like, wanting to hang out with us at night, I don't want her to be alone at nighttime. Mitternacht just didn't really care about the other cats. I mean, he did. He would lay with the other cats sometimes, but he wasn't bonded or anything, so I didn't worry as much about him. I did want to get him a cat. Like, I was talking about getting him a kitten for a long time, but we didn't end up doing it before he passed away. So I just was less worried about him in that way of, like, being alone. He was really old. He was content to just chill out and lay there. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't worry about him in that way quite as much. But with Mina, I really do want her to have, like, a buddy. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Cats like to be toasty, though. I think their body temp is around 82. Wait, I always thought their body temp was higher. No, cats' normal body temperature is 102. So they're already warmer than we are. And then with her being a long-haired cat, it's probably really easy for her. She loves to chill in the windows, and, like, I think it's cooler in the windows a lot of the time. We have so many squirrels and chippies outside our house, and a big glass back door for cat TV. Yeah. Getting your cat a cat is a real deal. Yeah. My cat needs a cat. Do you need a cat? Do you need a kitten? We're thinking about getting her a young male to kind of beat up. Higher body temp equals the world feels colder. Okay. So that could be like they're sharing body warmth with us because the ambient temperature feels colder to them. That could make sense. That would make sense to me. That, yeah, like, but that's so funny because you think about those think pieces about how, oh my God, the workplace is fundamentally patriarchal because in a general office environment, the temperature is calibrated to keep adult male bodies comfortable. Meanwhile, all the women in the office are like shivering. So it's funny because like women have allegedly a lower body temperature, but they're also colder. Wait, do women actually have a higher resting body temperature than men do? I don't know. We're having fun. You're a good girl. I love you. You baby. Yeah. I want to talk to her a little bit in her spot without like touching her so that she knows. Not a cat, but this is me doggy. Me doggy! Doggy! Oh, what a pupper. What a doggy. I love how you made it look like your doggy's getting stoned. That's funny. Little filter. Like a little eyes are closed that fits the theme. Thank you for sharing. Oh, apparently I've been logged out of Blue Sky. So I'll have to fix that later. We all know cats are cold-blooded. That's why they love space heaters so much. Little furry lizards. True. Estrogen dominant have same core temp, but lower skin temp. Okay, lower skin temperature. Men and women have the same resting temp, but different blood flow. That tracks. That makes sense to me. Apart from all the blunt smoke, she made that face herself. Yeah. Yeah, what a good dog. Women would get frostbite sooner than men, but men would die of hypothermia sooner. Blood flow is focused more in the core for women generally. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so you have all this, like, cold hands and feet, like, cold in the extremities thing going on. I've also noticed, like, the parts of my body that have the most fat on them, my skin is really cold. So, like, the more fat you have that's insulating your core temperature, the colder the skin is because, like, it's like keeping the cold out and holding the warmth in. So, like yeah, like, my sides of my hips and stuff, I'm like, oh, my skin is, like, cold on the fattiest parts of me. And then, like right under my boobs, for example, where it's just my rib cage, I'm like, oh, that's a lot warmer. Cat buddies are a definite thing. My old boy is super sad now that the baby moved out and he's all that's left, but I can't afford to get him a friend. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. It was hundreds of dollars. I fucking, I kind of couldn't afford to get a cat, honestly, but it's so worth it to have her. But it was like a couple $100s to adopt her. And then I immediately took her to the vet. And then I had to take her to the vet again like a couple weeks later. So I got her annual blood work to make sure that there was like a good baseline. Had to get her flea treatment. Had to have her treated for tapeworm. All this shit. So, yeah, getting another cat is like, if you're doing it in a responsible adult way, it's like when you buy a new car. You buy a new car and you immediately take it to your mechanic that you know personally and have a good relationship with so that you know whether the car has some fucked up thing, or like even if you're like thinking about buying a new car and you take it to the dealership or take it from the dealership to your mechanic. So it's this kind of similar thing with a cat. You get a new animal and you, especially from the shelter, you want to immediately take it because they treated her for roundworms at the shelter, but they didn't treat her for tapeworms. So when I took her to the vet, I was like, they gave her a treatment for worms, but the worms are still coming out. And like, even I might have been wrong about what kind of worms it was, except that one of them came out while she was at the exam table. And they were like, oh no, that's a tapeworm. And I'm like, okay, fucking great. We can get this treatment, get it done, get her taken care of. But yeah, it's not cheap. It's like hundreds of dollars to do it responsibly. To like get a new cat and not just trust what the shelter vet said and follow up flea treatments and all that kind of nonsense. And like my cat also has teeth problems. So she has dental treats she crunches on the treats to clean her teeth off. Like it's similar to brushing where it cleans the teeth off. And then there's an additive that I've been adding to her water that helps with she has gingivitis, which is actually kind of weird for a cat that young. So yeah, it's not cheap. And then I buy her wet food. She's spoiled. She gets wet food every day. And I bought her a bunch of toys. Oh. Yeah. Take her to the cat dealership to get checked out by a cat mechanic. Exactly. All I know is my ex, who was female, was always cold no matter the weather, but turned into a thermonuclear reactor once she fell asleep. Yeah. I get really warm at nighttime. I gotta stick one or both of my feet out from under the covers. But if the blanket is a thick blanket, then it's really hot at first, but then in the morning it's perfect. But then if it's a thinner blanket, then maybe it's the correct temperature at the beginning of the night, but then I'm frigid fucking cold and I can't go back to sleep after my partner gets out of bed because we sleep with a fan and everything. And I haven't yet figured out how to get him to consistently turn off the fan in the morning. Like, hey, you're getting up. Turn off the fucking fan. I'm usually not awake. So it's like, how do you get someone whose morning routine basically doesn't involve them thinking about you at all? Which is fine. Like, he wakes up earlier than I do. And I'm like, sometimes I'll even stay in bed even if I am awake because I'm like, I don't really want to talk to anybody in the morning. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me your tips and tricks. How do I get someone to not ruin my last hour and a half of sleep every day? Accidentally started a conversation about boob sweat. Sorry. My body temp goes up 10 degrees as soon as I fall asleep. Yeah, it sucks. We have all male cats, and one of them is just so intimidating. The others are scared of him, and I feel bad because he's just trying to play, but he's so dominant in body language that it scares the others. Oh, oh no. Yeah, I don't want to get another cat and have that cat be a super sweet, lovely cat, and then he just gets beat up all the time by Mina. That's what you exist for. You exist primarily for my main cat to beat up. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I tend to sleep without blankets outside the middle of winter. I haven't been able to make the shift. I'm still a blanket person. Maybe a thin blanket. I need something to So even if all of my ass and my legs are not under the blanket, I still want my upper body to be under a blanket. Get a fan with a remote. Yeah, but that requires me to wake up. I have a $20 box fan right now, keeping things cool. Although I was thinking about maybe, I could maybe I want to get a quieter fan. Because I have really bad tinnitus and I wake up in the morning and my ears are ringing because the fan's been going all night. But maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need like a silent fan or a mostly silent fan with a remote control. Put it on a fucking timer. Turn that bitch off at 7 o'clock in the morning. Can't relate. I live in a basement right now, and the other people living here blast the AC all night, and I've legit got like 4 blankets over me in the summer. I swear to God. Yeah. I use the electric one I have in the summer. Jesus, yeah, that's crazy. Oh, blasphemy. I'm so sorry. Says my doggo just passed last week, and my cat and I have been closer and taking care of each other, more snuggly and such. I'm glad we have each other. Yeah, I'm really glad that you have each other, but I'm really sorry that you are struggling. Yeah, it's never fun when an animal passes. It's just there's like no good way to proceed through grief except together. You kind of just have to do it together. My new earbuds / headphones have a tinnitus setting to counteract your exact frequency. I'm not wearing headphones or earbuds at nighttime is the problem. And I wear noise canceling headphones a lot of the time during the day, but then it's just, I'm like, hell yeah, it's totally silent in here. It's just me and my tinnitus. And I don't know if it would actually help to have like a tinnitus sound canceling sound blasting in my ear. I'm not actually sure. White noise has been used to treat tinnitus, but maybe some pink and brown noise would help to mix in. Maybe. It's like mostly the issue is like I said, when I wake up in the morning, the fan has been going all night, and so I turn the fan off, and then I'm like, oh, there's the tinnitus. Like, it's loud in the morning. Smart plug. I could do a smart plug, yeah. Might make a difference. It's like the fan is already on an extension cord, so I don't know. But that's a good thought. I appreciate the thought. Smart plug with like a timer option could be good. I wear headphones to sleep, but I'm a weirdo and that's bad to do. Yeah. I have it might not be obvious, I have like really small ears, and in particular, like the insides of my ears aren't very big. So if I ever put something in my ear, it's almost always protruding out to some degree. And then, of course, if I'm a side sleeper, so then I'm like smushing whatever it is into the side of my face, and it's just not particularly conducive. Like, I have silicone, or I had 2 of these silicone earrings, and I've actually lost one in the shower recently, so I've had to put this metal one in, but I only have the metal one in one side so that I can easily sleep like cuddled with my partner on this side, and then if I'm over on the left side, then it's just my pillow. But yeah, that part is complicating too. If you're like, yeah, I like to sleep on somebody's shoulder, it kind of makes it hard to have anything in, on, or around your ear. Anyone remember the smart clapper? I mean, listen, the clapper should make a comeback. We should. It's the clapper. What else have we got going on? We can fill time for another, like, half an hour. That's roughly how much time I have left here. Yeah. Clap on, clap off. The clapper. I would just keep forgetting that I actually did post a video yesterday, and so I'm like, oh yeah, the comments. What are the comments like on that? Y'all are annoying. I'm just gonna make a blanket statement that everyone in my audience is annoying. Just kidding. But I've started doing this thing at the end of the videos that's like, and if you watch to the end, put this in the chat. And I point over here, and then I have text over here to be like, put this in the chat. And the most recent one was like, your favorite superhero. And so many people are just typing your favorite superhero. And I'm like, you sons of bitches. You're all so annoying. Just tell me who your favorite fucking superhero is. I want to know who your favorite superhero is. Don't just type your favorite superhero in the chat, you pieces of shit. I play. I jest. I don't really think you're pieces of shit. Yeah, that's true. I can tell actually a fungus that their name is based. Yeah, that's true. It's true. I'm very annoying. After all, I teach physics. Yeah, Viren, you're the worst. You're the worst of all of them. What's up with Fleet Week? I don't know what Fleet Week is. Never heard of that. We got one for Spider-Man. Bucky Barnes, TBH. Okay, I'll take it. Cyber 6, okay. Captain America. Okay, I love Captain America, actually. People are allergic to sincerity in all forms, including giving straightforward answers to basic questions. It does seem like that's the case. Listen, I'm like, why? Why are you struggling with answer? I know. Ultimately, you're giving me a comment, and I appreciate it when people are like, haha, I'm just saying my superhero. Like, okay. You still technically left a comment. No, I'm based. My name is cool. Oh, I see. I'm correcting myself. Actually, a fungus has a cool name, but their name isn't based. It's just... Wait, what? I'm realizing. She, they. Okay. Her pronouns are she, they. And her name is cool. But they are based. Just accidentally knocking shit around, making loud noises. Everything's fine. Nothing broke. Just knocked a bunch of shit around my desk. Guys, I have a keyboard, and then I have a little tray on top of the keyboard where I can place another keyboard so that I have two of my keyboards for work. But I moved the other one, so now I just have a table on my desk right now. We got a love for Spider-Man. 3 Spider-Mans. And also somebody in the comments did say Spider-Man. So I had one person who was like, yes, I am going to answer the question in earnest. Fleet Week is a bunch of Navy ships parading as part of the Rose Festival in Portland. Oh, okay. Is there a Navy base here or something? I mean, I would assume. It's a major port city, so I would guess that there's a naval base there, right? In Portland? Do you ever think about how Portland is the land where there's a port? You ever think about that one? You ever put your noggin on that one? Magneto. Yeah, we've got love for Magneto. Excuse me. Ah. The monkey from Powerpuff Girls. To be clear, not Mojo Jojo. Okay. You gave me the confidence to try its pronouns. Fuck yeah. Which is so funny because I'm coming around the other side of it where I'm like, I actually don't want my pronouns to be confrontational. I think its pronouns are kind of directly confrontational, and that's sort of why I liked them. But I don't want my identity to be fundamentally controversial or conflict-oriented, especially in an environment where my transness is confrontational on its face, and I don't even need to use transgressive pronouns in order for it to be fundamentally unacceptable to people. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I use they/it now. It's like they/it, which means I guess that I need to have this updated or update it myself, the pronouns on here. On my little this thing over here. Portland does, in fact, have a port. The last I heard, it is struggling. Yeah. They do Fleet Week all over each coast. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Yep. You do you, Lux. I enjoy being deliciously problematic. Well, it's like I keep putting myself in situations where I'm having conflict. And maybe I'm just getting myself tired. Like, I'm just getting sleepy about it. Oh, damn, they're calling us pieces of shit. What a time to join the chat. Emma, you're a couple minutes behind, I think. But, yeah, I was complaining about how I just posted a video yesterday. And I've done this thing now at the end where I'm like, hey, if you reach to the end of the video, put this in the chat. And then I put something on the screen that's like some text. I'm like, the first one was like Team Edward or Team Jacob and why. And the most recent one was put your favorite superhero in the chat. And then a bunch of people have put, quote, your favorite superhero. And I'm like, you sons of bitches. Just answer the goddamn question. I never really understood the it pronoun. It feels dehumanizing to refer to someone this way. Well, yeah, but like that's why they like it. Like there is, I feel like it's good to interrogate the concept of dehumanization. Because first of all, like we place human beings in a different category, which means like it's not okay to treat human beings in a certain way, but it is okay to treat non-human beings in a certain way. And then you open us up to then creating categories of people that are being dehumanized. But like if we just take all of the power out of dehumanization by being like, okay, so they're less human, or like so animals have like should have the same kind of respect on their identity, or like we should be on the same level as animals. Either we all have the same respect or none of us have the same respect. So I just kind of like the idea of challenging that framework of that dehumanization is inherently bad. And like I do recognize it. Like, yeah, that's part of the problem. That's why I left the fucking conservative group on Facebook, because all of the dehumanizing rhetoric I was seeing all the time was like, this is how you justify murdering people. But I think like I enjoy challenging that framework. And if you are a person who has been dehumanized and otherized, it can feel really powerful to reclaim that and to be like, I want to embrace it's like when people are like, let your freak flag fly. You know, like the word freak is still used in a very directly derogatory and dehumanizing fashion. But there are people who are like, yeah, I'm a freak, so what? Yeah, I'm a faggot, so what? You know what I mean? It's like there's power in reclaiming that and saying, yes, that is what I am. You can't shame me for it because I'm not ashamed of it. So I kind of see its pronouns being similar. Or like, you know, self-referential slurs or like whatever. It just seems like it's just challenging some of these ideas and embracing the thing about you that makes people mad and everything. So yeah, humanity is overrated anyway. True. Hi, pretty baby. Are you back? Hello, my love. Oh, yeah? We're late for wet food time. So maybe that's part of what she wants. You sweet baby. Mm-hmm. She's talking to me. Well, no, you can't hear her, but she's talking to me. Yeah, queer was a slur. They would yell it at you in the 80s in hatred. People still use it that way. And it's like you can tell in context whether somebody's like part of the queer community or if they're using queer as a pejorative that should make you feel like maybe a hate crime is about to occur, right? Like you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference between someone who's using its because those are pronouns that the person wants to be called versus people called Tina Kotek an it. Tina Kotek is the governor of Oregon, and she's a lesbian with short hair. And people are constantly like, yeah, she's a man, and they call her its pronouns. And it's like, you can tell that that is in a mean-spirited, like, they would probably hate crime her kind of way. I love that we've taken queer back. Really interesting studying the nuances of reclaiming slurs. Yeah, absolutely. One of my partners goes by it's not as a confrontation, but as a genuine expression of their non-gendered energy, soul, and who it is. And it's beautiful. One of the cutest humans I know. Yeah. And then there's people who use its pronouns who do actually who are like, I would prefer if you did not lump me in with humans. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. We've got some critters in the Discord server, for example, who are like, I'm a critter. Have any of you guys seen Section 31? I know that's going to feel like a really different topic, but we just did we did Star Trek Beyond for the podcast, which if you don't know, I have a podcast with my friend Gayfesh and Demon Mama. It's on the Gayfesh YouTube channel. If you go to Gayfesh YouTube channel, it's called the Many Worlds Hypothesis, and we've been mostly covering movies. So we just did we've done all kinds of shit, but we just did Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek Beyond. That's not public yet. Star Trek Beyond, we just recorded it, so it'll be public in a couple weeks. And then we're going to watch Section 31, which is Star Trek. But I've never seen it, and actually neither Gayfesh nor Demon Mama has seen it. So that's going to be exciting. And then we're probably going to do the Matrix movies after. Well, not the Matrix movies specifically. I think we've decided we're going to do a Wachowskis. So we've picked a couple of directors. Like we watched a bunch of Rob Reiner movies. So we watched Spinal Tap and Princess Bride and all those. When Harry Met Sally, that was a lot of fun. So now we're going to do the Wachowskis and watch through some of their movies, including ones that I haven't seen, and all 4 Matrix movies. So that's going to be fun. Ayo, I haven't seen Demon Mama on forever. I hope she's well. Yeah. So yeah, she is on the podcast every 2 weeks. If you're missing Demon Mama, we have like more than a year's worth of podcast episodes. We release every 2 weeks, so it's only like 26 episodes per year or whatever. So there's like 30 some odd, maybe 40 some odd episodes if you want to catch Demon Mama, and she has a lot of thoughts on movies. So, and because she doesn't stream anymore and I do stream, a lot of the time I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to let Demon Mama cook on this one. So we do have a lot of really fun episodes. I never really cared for the entire concept of Section 31 since it was introduced in Deep Space Nine, so I've just been dodging the movie. Okay, fair. I forgot how much weight I've lost, so when I purchased my Tranarchy hoodie, I ordered it a couple sizes too big, but now I'm having fun modifying it. I corseted the sides with soda tabs and elastic. That sounds so fun! I love that. I'm working on a new design for my t-shirts. I'm like actually learning how to use Illustrator and how to do graphic design a little bit more. So I am working on a t-shirt design that basically says, sorry about your trans derangement syndrome. Is anybody going to buy that shirt? I still clearly have a lot to learn, both about graphic design and about how to use Adobe Illustrator. But I do think that would be a fun little design. And then I can shout it out when I'm hosting Takis, and it's like, you know, hey, you can get merch that says, sorry about your trans derangement syndrome. I imagine that being more of an ally shirt. Like, I really don't expect trans people to wear, again, a very confrontational shirt while you're out just trying to live your lives. Mersh says, I've been called it and misgendered, etc. I've told them in meanness, as I'm intersex, you're not completely wrong. I've done this with a laugh and scared the hell out of them when I did it. When you smile in response, it freaks them out. Yeah, somebody tries to use like dehumanizing language and you just laugh it off or smile and they're like, oh, I think you're about to murder me. Do you guys want to see my design so far? Let's see. I feel like this is a low stakes enough project that I can show it to you and I won't kill all of my desire to work on it. Confrontational shirts are the best. I dyed my hair rainbow just to make a point. There's no hiding it now. True. Hurry up, dude. Adobe Illustrator. My computer's wheezing. Come on, open the file. Open the file. Okay, here we go. So this is like I said, I'm still like workshopping it. I like this basic idea where this is like the curved line. Sorry about your in some kind of cursive font. I like that. Sorry about your trans derangement syndrome. And then like the trans derangement syndrome being like in capitals and like that's the big blocky confrontational part on it. I don't know. What are our thoughts? And I'm kind of like, I'm not married to this pink color. And I also don't know what color t-shirt this is going on. Like, because it's like black text, at least placeholder text is black. Black outline, pink inside. It's like this shirt, this doesn't work on a black shirt, obviously. So I'm not sure if I would just like redo the colors and this is kind of got like, it already looks, oh my God, what's the word for it? There's a word for like when the clothes look a little bit worn already. Like this font has kind of the spray thing going on where it already looks kind of fatigued. Is that the right word? Fatigued? Make the word cyan instead of magenta. Make the word about. Specifically, sorry, about your, maybe. I like the idea of this being visually consistent, of the, like, each separate element having its own visual style and not mixing it up too much. Like, yes, I appreciate the idea of doing distressed. That's the word. Thank you. You could add a white edge to your black letters. Yeah, I just worry that adding a white edge to these will also fill in all of the spray part on the inside, like all of the little white parts. I don't know. But are we feeling good about the design generally? Are we feeling like that's a fun t-shirt? I know, and I was going to say, I see, Drea, the idea of putting trans colors on I just don't want it to be too visually distracting. And I like the idea of the trans flag on there, but I think that brings an element to it that's like just a little bit too visually cluttered. I don't know. I think the A is a little too big in the about. But you're just telling me to pick a different font or to pick a different typeface. Like, yeah. That's just how big it is in the thing. Rainbow tie-dye for Pride Month. I don't have any Pride merchandise, which is so funny. I like didn't put anything out for Pride. Oh, Scottish, that's so cute. I got a new t-shirt for Pride. It says 404 attraction not found in Arrow Ace flag colors. Yeah. If you ship this to Canada, will you pronounce it a boot? That's for you to do. Keep the pink text and have the shirt be cerulean in color. Guy, I don't know how to say this, but I feel like incorporating the trans flag colors into every single trans design is tacky, and I don't like pastels, and they don't look good, and it's not a good graphic design choice. I need to ask Dizzy what they think about this, because Dizzy is someone I know who actually has training in graphic design, and I think that those are bad colors for graphic design. Like, it's fine for a flag. I think that they are objectively ugly colors from a graphic design standpoint. And I don't want every single thing to have trans flag colors on it. Does that make sense? Am I being mean about the trans flag being ugly? Trans-colored Trump hair to connect the TDS dots. Yeah, good. That's funny. It's a funny idea. I don't disagree about them being bad colors for print. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, is like I just think that they're not very attractive colors for the purpose. But I like the idea. I'm just not good at graphic design or executing on that. So I'm like, teach me Adobe Illustrator. Give me all of your tutorials on how to correctly, how to make the stuff curve in the first place. Or because here's another thing that I had to do with this was, because I wanted there to be an outline around this, the sorry about your, I had to effectively, I had to rasterize this text layer to turn it into shapes, but then I had to combine all the shapes into one shape, or relatively, obviously the A was kind of by itself, so the A was its own shape. And so I had to then turn everything into shapes and then add the outlines so that each individual letter wouldn't have, so that there wouldn't be it's breaking up the cursive with a fucking big outline block of color. So yeah, I don't know. We're working on things. Red, white, and blue. Yeah. For the black text, maybe try a stencil font. Yeah, I looked at a couple of different fonts. I'm willing to continue dicking around with this. And ultimately, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. So that's another thing. I'm like, I don't need this to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. And once it's good enough, I should just publish it. The trans pin I have on my jacket is a silver trans symbol with a pentacle in the center, and I feel like it conveys shit plenty well. True, that's true. Also, the stroke panel has a button to align stroke to inside or outside or on the vector. That's true. And I selected this to be outside. I made a deliberate choice to, keep the font as much as possible and then just add the outline on the outside. So I've been having some fun with that. That's I like the first line being in a cute font. It gives sarcastic. Okay, you're feeling the vibe. And it's cunty. That's the pink. It feels cunty. I think my original feeling was to have it be white, blocky white. With the black outline. So maybe not even have any color on this one. But again, it's a black t-shirt. I could just invert all the colors. I guess I could just have a black t-shirt with a white outline and black lettering, and then white lettering on the trans derangement syndrome part. That could work. So I could basically just tweak this relatively little. And I haven't actually, I haven't zoomed out a little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit. I don't know how well you can see, but sorry about your trans derangement syndrome, because you're gonna see it small. I feel like that's still pretty legible. I feel like you'd see that from a distance and be like, okay, I see. I don't know. It's got major cute cunty vibes. Okay, cool. I do wish that people didn't only resort to pride flag colors. It would be nice to get some variety. Capitalism kind of meh it all. Yeah, and I have noticed some newly arising pride brands that I saw this one person who's I'm alt or whatever. I don't like rainbows, but I'm still gay. And so all of their pride merch is more the sort of classic blocky tattoos, or it's just straight up black and white, or it's verging onto the metal and the alt kind of vibes. So it's like, yeah, there's clearly somewhat of a need niche-wise for Pride merch that isn't just fucking rainbows and pride flags. Excuse me. Looks like it says berry cream something at a distance. I don't know what to do to help you if an S looks like a B. I don't know. That image would make a great pin for a jacket. Okay. Kind of makes me think of the Barbie text. Yeah, the idea was to be like cutesy and kind of feminine in the sorry about your part. Ooh, I should ask Arden when she's feeling a little bit better, because Arden is also a person I know who has like actual experience with graphic design, or like she does art and stuff. So I don't actually know if she did any schooling about it. I know that Dizzy did some schooling about it. So yeah, I don't know. Anyhoozle. Let's see if there's any good comments on the video from yesterday. Which was the title of the video from yesterday, if you didn't see it, was "Do trans women have female feet?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. Someone in the comments said, "This is a new argument. Is this like Tarantino's law? Kojima's razor? Dan Schneider's law of relativity?" Cursed. Cursed knowledge. This commenter says, "Am I imagining it, or are most of the guys who call in incredibly obvious eggs tragically drowning in internalized transphobia?" True. Yeah, this call was a crazy one. I keep that in mind when designing pride stuff. I'll try to always have a version without pride flag colors. Yeah, feet and pride, the cursed forbidden combo. That is somehow twice that we've referenced Riley Grace Rochong in this 1 3-hour stream. That's so funny. I can connect you with a server of Design Pros if you'd like some industry feedback. I feel like it's different when you're asking your friends, like, hey, can you tell me if this looks good, versus like industry professionals who I feel like I would need to pay a consulting fee. I don't know. What's the vibe of the Design Pros? Can you just be like, hey, graphic design is my passion. Tell me if this looks good. And then you get a bunch of free feedback. And also nobody steals your idea, you know? I am the trans of Theseus. We brought up the ship of Theseus during this argument. Oh, I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, we're ship of Theseusing our way through life. And then you go on a transporter and it Cutty Sarks you. So I was watching Star Trek Beyond, and I don't actually know if that version of McCoy, I think that version of McCoy is like against the transporter, or is McCoy just generally like against the transporter? Because like, I do think it kills you and then reconstructs a facsimile of you. Like, I think that is what occurs, objectively speaking. You just get Cutty Sarked. Ship of Transius. True. Reddit can be good for that, but I don't want them to steal my design. Don't steal my shit. That's the other thing about having my personal friends. I'm like, my personal friends aren't going to steal my shit and then sell their own t-shirt. Essentially a server of industry pros that are also looking to help bring up young artists and enthusiasts. Okay, okay. Someone in the comments says, "Not the first body part I would fixate on in this conversation, but you do you, I guess." True. Yes, he hates it. Okay, so Dr. McCoy on Star Trek hates the transporter. Penguin says he saw 2 people get fried at the beginning of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Okay. Funny thing is the transporter's functionality is situational. I think it kills you, right? McCoy believes that when you transport, the person who comes out is not you. So yeah, then again, we have Scotty who spent decades in a transport buffer. So yeah, it's like, are they your molecules? Is it your brain? Like, and so I was watching Star Trek Beyond and he had to get like emergency transported out of something. And I genuinely felt something for him, like that, like, and we didn't talk about it during the podcast episode, but it's like, from McCoy's standpoint, on some level, he just died. And they just got to keep it moving. Like, they don't talk about it at all. They don't focus on it at all, which I can't remember if they established that he doesn't like the transporter in those 3 movies, the J.J. Abrams ones. He's okay with the cisporter, true. I don't know I can't remember if they established it in that universe or if that's just carryover information that I happen to know from TOS and all that. My friend sells shirts like disabled queer, somehow still here. Hell yeah, dude. That's good stuff. It's got me thinking about how transvestigators are going to use feet genders. They already look at hands really closely, so. Byron says, if Star Trek were less cowardly, they'd go the route of, yeah, your arrangement of molecules isn't special, and it is you, and if it's copied, you're you twice, no soul involved. True. You are put into a quantum pattern buffer and then reconstructed from some energy matter conversion on the other end, therefore it is 100% killing the, quote, original. Yeah. Identity philosophy, if it remembers being you, it has a claim of being you. Yeah, and there's a whole issue in The Next Generation where, like, there's a copy of Riker who is, like, who goes on to live his own life and everything. It's like you have memories of being of being the person, but then once you know that you're the copy, then your entire identity shifts from that point, and they're completely divergent. How do we feel about Tuvix? I mean, it's tough, right? Because if you guys don't know, Tuvok and Neelix are 2 characters from It's Voyager, right? And they got into a transporter snafu where they were merged into one person called Tuvix. Tuvok and Neelix do not like each other particularly. So we know that those 2 individual crewmen would not want to have been joined. But then Tuvix, the individual that is the 2 of them merged, really does want to live and, like, wants to stay. And Captain Janeway, like, decides to reverse it. And so she basically kills Tuvix in order to save the lives of both Tuvok and Neelix. And in Voyager, they're, like, many, many light years away from home, and it's not really going to be possible for them to get back in time. Neelix likes Tuvok. Okay. So Tuvok in particular would not have been happy to be joined with Neelix. But, like, so for Voyager, every single member of the crew is an essential is essential. You can't have your crew dying when you're fucking light years away from home and you're traveling through space where there's a bunch of fucking Borg and all kinds of other crazy shit. And you're literally just trying to get home, but even your faster than light travel spaceship is not going to get you back to Earth or even into Federation space within your lifetime, basically. But they're valiantly fucking trying anyway. Like they got yeeted out into space by a wormhole or some shit like that. So I understand from the captain's perspective that you're like, I had 2 functional crew members and now I have 1 functional crew member with a major identity crisis. And, like, knowing that the two of them didn't consent to this mix match, and that at least one of the 2 of them would have been really annoyed by being merged. Like, I think, and, like, the fact that, like, you have 2 crew members who it's like, okay, how am I going to do with this paperwork wise? Am I going to say, oh, well, 2 of my crew members are dead and I'm going to log their deaths and have to tell their families, or whatever the fuck. And then what? Do I now create, Like, do I have Starfleet create like a new designation for this new crew member who did not go to the academy? Like this new fully formed person who like has some Starfleet training but like doesn't officially have any, like, so on paper it's like, does this person actually have so I think I agree with the decision to unmix the two of them. Like, I think from Captain Janeway's perspective, it was like critically important for her to have those two crew members back, basically. But I also haven't even seen that episode, to be clear. I've seen a handful of Voyager episodes from, we do like Star Trek Tuesdays in one of my friend's Discord servers. And so I haven't actually seen the episode in question, but I think based on everything else I know about it, that it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with Janeway's decision. And maybe that's bad of me. Maybe that's wrong. Wait, don't they have patterns of both stored? So let Tuvix live and print new people. Ah, well, you see, Scottish Bury, there is another hair, which is that on the Voyager ship, because the replicators they do consume energy. It's not like completely free in that sense. And so because they're trying to conserve resources and conserve power on Voyager, they're trying to conserve their fuel, they don't even replicate food. They have a galley with a chef, and everybody eats home-cooked food because that is helping them save energy. So for whatever reason that they can't use the replicators to just make whatever food they want or whatever resources they want because they're trying to save fuel, it would also stand to reason that they would not be able to print two new people, even if their patterns are saved. But, I mean, maybe it would have been worth it to save Tuvix's life and the whole, like, I deserve to live thing, and then also just recreate Tuvok and Neelix. I don't know. Tuvix did not want to die. Effectively, Janeway committed murder. But neither did Tuvok or Neelix want to be joined, and so Tuvix killed two of her crewmen. Like intentionally or unintentionally, that doesn't matter. A fetus who kills its mother still killed its mother, even if it's not intentional, right? So Tuvix, by being born or by being created, killed two of her crewmen. Janeway replicates her coffee. Sounds sus. Yeah, it's probably like in very small use cases they can still replicate things, but they're not like replicating food for the whole crew. Tuvix was apparently a way better chef than Neelix. That's really funny. In fairness, they kind of broke replication tech for Voyager to simply to add scarcity into the storyline. How exactly does one have scarcity when you can stick matter into a replicator and have it convert back into energy? Yeah, so it's like for the plot, we're doing things for the plot. Like, obviously, every one of these decisions was ultimately made by a writer in a writer's room. So, you know, it's not a real place. It's not real things. But it does allow us to ask and answer very interesting questions. Voyager wasn't very consistent, unfortunately. They needed to save energy, but had the holodecks active. True. Tuvix sort of killed Tuvok and Neelix, but it wasn't his choice either, so not murder. We're making a distinction difference here. Tuvix still killed two of her crewmen. They both ceased to exist, and then this new creature came into existence. So like I'm saying, like part of the argument that I make about like, here's the castle doctrine, here's why we should protect abortion rights, is like, even if the fetus is an entire whole person with their own life or whatever, they're still attempting to kill the person inside. And so yeah, obviously it wasn't intentional, and there, for legal purposes, there's a distinction. But I'm just from Janeway's perspective, this person killed 2 of her crewmen. We can take the word murder out of it because obviously it wasn't intentional. But this guy killed 2 of her crewmen. She doesn't know this fucking guy. He's a completely different person. He claims to be a completely different person. And it isn't one of her most reliable. Tuvok is one of her most reliable crewmen, right? He's a Vulcan, right? And Neelix is the chef. So it's yeah, okay, I'm gonna basically lose my Vulcan on the ship and then have a slightly better chef. The calculus on that for Star Trek Voyager is like I say, I just think it makes sense. But I also just really like Janeway, so maybe I'm just doing apologetics for problematic female girl boss moment. Oh my god, excuse me. And it's never spoken of again. Isn't that one of the great things about episodic TV? It's oh, this traumatic thing happened, and then we just never acknowledge it again. Yeah, that's funny. Janeway was friends with Tuvok for a long time before. Yeah. Let's see. Was I about to look something? Oh, I guess I was just I'm not finished caught up on the comments on the video from yesterday, but... Tossing in analogies to DID here to complicate the moral consideration. Yeah, that does complicate things. Obviously, I'm of the opinion that, it kind of seems like the Marvel Universe killed the Hulk. It kind of does seem like they killed the Hulk. But it's do you view it as their personalities merging? Is Professor Hulk, or whatever you want to call him after the merging, is that a different guy who merged the two, or is that just Dr. Banner? Because the way that they portray it in the movie is very much just yeah, that's Dr. Banner now. And when they she pushes his spirit out of the Hulk body, and he's Dr. Banner. So I do think that they killed the Hulk, and I am annoyed by it. Tuvok was also the second officer, chief of security, and chief tactical officer. That's what I mean. That would be a serious loss for her. On her ship, fucking yeeted away from... They're way the fuck in the Delta Quadrant or whatever. The Hulk of Theseus, true. There's a Tuvix plot in Lower Decks. Fun. Speaking of sci-fi, is anyone else on here looking forward to watching Disclosure Day? It does look really interesting to me. I'm not going to go see it in theaters because I just am not motivated to go see it in theaters, but I'm really interested in it. I saw a trailer for it when we went to see Iron Lung in the theaters, so yeah, I'm curious about it. There's a beautiful DS9 episode where the A plot involves a character dying and having his brain pieces replaced with machine. The B plot is about one character learning to accept the cultural differences because an alien is a massive misogynist, but it's his culture. I've never seen the extremes of Star Trek so thoroughly presented in one episode. This is part of why everybody thinks that DS9 is the best, right? Lower Decks was the only Star Trek I could convince my girlfriend to watch. Star Trek is so fun. There's so much good shit in there. Neelix was also from the Delta Quadrant and had a lot of knowledge about their cultures, local foods, and had contacts. Yeah, so that's two very valuable members of your very limited team. And so again, I agree with Janeway. On paper, yeah, from a survival standpoint, separating Tuvix was absolutely the right decision. Yeah. Byron says, to be clear, the B plot of that episode is one of the worst Star Trek things I think I've seen. TBH, and the A plot is one of the better ones. Like, they managed to really fuck it up and also succeed in an episode. Yeah, I don't really like when they try to do this whole, like, well, tolerance for other cultures means we have to tolerate the fucked up things that they do. Like, this is one of the things that soured me majorly on The Orville, was that they have this episode where they're like, oh yeah, everybody in this species is male, but then a female is born, and they're like, the couple's like, yeah, well, we're gonna do fucking genital conversion therapy on this baby and make it a male, and then everybody just kind of has to be like, well, that's uncomfortable, but we have to tolerate it. And I'm like, that's fucked up, and I don't want to watch your shitty TV show anymore. Like, I really don't agree with when we end with like, well, some cultures do fucked up things, and that just has to be part of what we tolerate. I'm like, no, actually. Like, get off my fucking ship, actually. Like, if you wanna, like, do surgery on your baby to make it a different gender, get the fuck off my ship, actually. I really, really, really hate that. When the lesson of at the end of the Star Trek show or the Orville or whatever is like, yeah, well, accepting differences means accepting that people do fucked up things, or accepting that a culture is misogynistic, and that's just what their culture is. Shrug. Like, no, that's not what multiculturalism means, in my opinion. Go fuck yourself. Sorry. Heck yeah, site chat works on mobile. Nice. Thank you very much. Do they fix it? Wetware, do they fix it on the Orville? Later they blatantly go against that and the kid winds up transitioning, sorta. And if I remember, it's kind of shown to be blatantly a bad thing. Ew, dude. Okay, yeah, I never ended up finishing the Orville. I think I watched, like, maybe all of season 1, and then I didn't watch any more after that. I don't know. I'd have to go back and revisit it. But I don't want to watch a fucking convert a baby into the right gender episode. Like, I might skip that episode completely. Anyway, we're a little bit late. I usually am getting out of here at 5, so a little bit late. I gotta go get ready for therapy and do all the other things that I'm supposed to do. But anyway, thank you all for having such a robust and interesting conversation with me today. Thanks to y'all who asked questions. Thank you to y'all who donated. Thank you, Byron, for the calculator. I will use it responsibly, I promise. Yeah, thanks everybody so much for hanging out. It's been a good day. And again, I am only streaming on Wednesdays for the rest of the month. I don't know what's going to happen in July. It sort of depends, but I've been covering for Arden on Sundays, so I'm not streaming on Sundays right now. But with that, I will see you all next week on Wednesday, June 17. Happy Pride, everybody. Keep your celebrations fun, safe, and happy, and prideful. And I'll see you next time. Okay.